This episode of Sports Goofs is brought to you by Tiki. Tiki is an exciting new app that is focused on allowing you to take back control of your data. Did you know that companies made $382 billion from your data last year? Your data has tons of value, and Tiki will allow you to choose what data you share with companies and how you can monetize it. You just link your accounts in the app and you get a payout. Tiki is completely free to use and is available worldwide, so you can start earning from anywhere. Tiki has already launched their initial registration, and they have limited spots available for people to use the app right now. So make sure to sign up at mytiki.com/sportsgoose. Once you sign up, you'll be sent a link to download the app and start using it. They're growing fast and will be having weekly releases and adding new features as we speak. More than 30,000 people have signed up, so make sure to join early. Check out the link in our podcast description for all of the details. Thank you, Tiki, and now, let's get to the goofs. Let's lower that. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sports Goofs number 99. I am Francisco, joined by my two buddies, as always, Andrew and Charles. And yeah, how are you guys doing? What's going on?
Not much.
I will tell you, boys, episode 99, Billboard year-end Hot 100 singles of 1999 had a couple of bangers. Number one, Believe by Cher, fantastic song. No Scrubs by TLC, fantastic song. Baby One More Time, fantastic song. Genie in a Bottle, Gotta Rub Me the Right Way. Every Morning by Sugar Ray, Take Out What, Living La Vida Loca.
Yikes.
Pop how's
music
that number
was
10?
just killing it that year.
Oh, I mean, I'm bringing this up. I Want It That Way by Backstreet Boys at 15. Guys, it is 2021. I was singing that in the car the other day, and sometimes, thankfully, people might be thinking that I'm on my phone or something via Bluetooth. No, I was hitting them pipes. I was breaking out my best Kevin. Smash Mouth, All-Star, big time stuff. And then a song that is, I don't understand how it's number 19, because it was the jam from June to September, but Smooth by Santana featuring Rob Thomas. Are you kidding me? That was 19? Like, that's another song we're coming into it. And then just for number 100, just to get out there, was Alabama and NSYNC, God Must Have Spent a Little Time with You. I remember that song. It was not good. But I think it's because they were doing Music of My Heart. And then, of course, from my love of rap, Hard Knock Life on 89, Little Do They Know, it just keeps us going.
Yikes.
They have Genuine, So Anxious. Guys, I'm just down memory lane.
Oof.
You know,
Yeah.
the 80s was great for me for certain songs. Like, I've been listening to Opportunities by... It's the song on the Geico commercial. It's like, I got the brains, you got the licks, let's go make some money. I just killed it. Pet Shop Boys or something like that. They also made another great song. But looking at this, Mambo number 5 at number 42.
Oh,
is it wrong that it's not number 5? Boys, it's... Wild Wild West by Will Smith.
Oh my
classic.
goodness gracious! Yeah, I remember going to the theaters for that one.
What's It Gonna Be by Busta Rhymes and Janet Jackson. I was jammed to that the other day. I'm just saying that right now. I go through that. So that's what my day is, and my realization that the 1999 had a lot of bangers.
Wow.
Bangers, Chris.
Dear Lord. That is some nostalgia, man. Just sitting down there, Donkey Kong 64 on the N64, that came out that year. Yeah.
1998 was a good year, boys.
Yeah, Mario Party. Yeah, the first one came out that year. Super Smash Brothers. The first one came out that year too. Video games were killing it as well. Oh boy. Oh well, hold on. We got sponsorship this time, folks. Here we go. So, guys, your data is worth thousands of dollars per year. Why aren't you getting your fair share? Huh? Why the heck are we not getting our fair share? Huh, Charles? Huh, Andrew? Let's take back control of our data, and we'll get paid while we're doing it.
I'd like that.
Tiki's got our back, and they'll get yours as well. Sign up now to be one of the first to take advantage of their amazing new app where you can pick and choose who can pay you for your data out of these big giant companies just siphoning off, learning about all our stuff. And you can use our link, mytiki.com/sportsgoofs, to be one of the first to be in getting up their new app. They're starting to roll it out this year, little by little, before a full-on rollout amongst the rest of the world. So you're hearing it to be one of the first here on Sports Goofs. So thank you, Tiki, for sponsoring Sports Goofs number 99. Okay, all right, yeah. That sounds like pretty cool things, man. I love, just to get some money. Everybody needs side hustles. We all need side hustles. All right. So there you go, man. Oh, let's see. We got some sports. Sports happened, folks. It did. Things went down. Things went down in the NBA trade deadline. Things happen in the NHL as well. The NFL has news as well. Baseball's right around the corner. It's literally this week.
We have college sports.
We have college. So, March Madness doesn't matter to me anymore.
But do you know what matters to me, though?
College? Oh, indeed. The Frozen
college
Four.
hockey, if you're
John
Butcher.
There was a doozy of a game.
Mm-hmm.
A doozy.
Historically doozy.
Tampa Bay Lightning-esque length doozy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But
they had to have a 7th period stretch.
Yes.
Never do that again. I'm gonna. You bet your ass, BU. I'm gonna be asking for your opinion on the first few games so far, because we had quite a few upsets, and I spent more time watching the D1 tournament. Never do that again. Okay, now I know why. Okay, got it. Got it. Okay, I got you. I'm just messing with you. I think that thing is stupid. The reason I put such an emphasis on the pronunciation, guys, is because he spells it CAWLEDGE, college hockey.
Is he from Massachusetts? Because I just think of that accent that comes in. College hockey. I also thought of Sandlot when they're like forever.
I mean, that sounds like, I'm just thinking of like them playing the 7th overtime intermission stretch or whatever. Just hello out there, they're on the air. Just start playing that. It's like, what the heck is going on? Okay, all right. Yeah, a lot of things went down. Whoa. I do want to start with something fun. All right? Something that was brought to our attention most recently. Guys, I'm going to have a real MVP to start us out. It's Kevin Durant.
Oh. From that okay.
Yes. Kevin Wayne Durant, and he's got some new beef with Michael Rappaport. All right, okay, this is fun. So Kevin Durant, noted Twitter user, as we all know, indeed, and well, he was okay. Charles, can you bring us in here?
Okay, I'll bring us in here.
Yeah.
And for what we're going to say right now, disclaimer, I don't necessarily condone the derogatory statements said by Kevin Durant in his messages, but I'm always about sports athletes. I feel like that's kind of redundant. We know they're athletes, but not everybody's a sporter, right? But I'm always about athletes kind of clapping back at other athletes who are now media analysts or people who don't play the game and kind of do quarterback couching is the phrase I'll use, but for any sport. So I guess what had happened, we do actually have a good non-spot or other MVP that I'll make a suggestion on to counteract the Kevin Durant taste, so I'll keep that on the back burner. But I guess something happened. Michael Rappaport is a known comedian. He, I think, had a defamation suit against Barstool Sports, or whatever they're called, and those dropped out. So he's very opinionated about his sports. And then I guess something happened where he tried to call out Kevin Durant on either Instagram or on the social media platforms about him not answering questions. And the thing that has been in Kevin Durant's reputation in the league is that he's kind of soft. Not soft on the game, but soft in media and wanting to be liked. And there's been some incidences. If you were in Oklahoma City, he had his secret Twitter accounts where he was criticizing the organization and everything like that. So he's a little sensitive. But so what happened was Rappaport shouts him out, and then Kevin Durant almost turned into Marvin Harrison, but verbally is the way I'll say it. Because first he does like a middle finger to Charles Barkley, because they're talking about inside the NBA. And for those who are not familiar with Charles Barkley, even now he is still one of the best trash talkers out there. Whether or not him and Shaq are accurate, because I don't think they just like this style of play. And I think what happens is when you're a prior generation, you're always going to have an unhappiness with style play. But Durant just goes straight to him and says, listen, it was a yes or no question. Why am I going to answer like this when I can't expand on more? And then they flung some words to each other. So Michael Rappaport was trying to start the fire. Kevin Durant was smart enough to kind of step on the fire before it became a brush fire, became a wildfire and burned the forest down. But it was kind of nuclear. And there was some C words thrown out there. There was some F words thrown out there. There was a comparison of Michael Rappaport's skin with seminal fluid. I personally loved it because, I always appreciate a good Skywalker smack talker. And even though Kevin Durant probably had to be really trepidatious about what he would type, it was still good enough to get my entertainment, because the purpose of social media, I love the feuds. I love it, man. It reminds me of the days of IMDb when I would be looking at the Harry Potter boards and seeing people like go at it over imaginary characters for books that haven't been written yet, and someone gets offended about how the movie's not getting adapted. I'm like, get me that popcorn. I love that drama, man. I'm a people watcher. I don't know about you guys, but I like to, if I'm going out, if I'm with friends, whatever, I see other people. I want to know what, if I see a man or woman angry at their significant other, I want to know why. And I hone in. So this is like my form of entertainment. And I don't know Rappaport enough. I just always kind of feel like it's goofy sometimes when you have comedians going hardcore. And of course, the only one I think that I'm a big fan of is Bill Burr, because I remember he was on Cowherd's show, and then Cowherd was trying to attack Baker Mayfield, and then Bill Burr's like, you don't do anything. I like people who call people out, but these two were slinging at it. Like I said, we don't advocate or condone any of the words that were said, but basically Kevin Durant came like, bro, I'll hit you in the face.
Condone Kevin Durant's attitude. Yes. That's what I condone. I condone
even if it escalates to saying, meet me on the streets, I'll fight out. I'm with that.
I just love Kevin Durant's transformation. And we've witnessed it across the lifespan of this show, now 3 years strong. And it has been... this segment, the real MVP,
was because of him.
It was because of him. And when people made fun... Kevin Durant's transformation, people made fun of him for crying and shouting out his mother, who raised him, all the things they went through, and he was saying, you're the real MVP. And people made fun of him and all that stuff, and finally Kevin Durant, somewhere at some point, I guess in his last season with OKC at Oklahoma, he was just like, F it. I don't care what nobody else thinks about me anymore. I'm going to go to the best damn team there is and win myself a ring. I'm going to get as much money as possible and go wherever the hell I want, and leave Golden State and get more money someplace else in Brooklyn. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to have a super team, even though I think he was one of the people, like, when the Heat were getting their big three together, he's like, man, I wish, or something like that. He said something that was kind of hypocritical in the sense that he did the same thing, but he doesn't care anymore. And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty. It is liberating when he's finally he's at a stage where he's made so much money. He's already got all of the accolades. He's gonna make the Hall of Fame the way things are going. Who cares what anybody else thinks of him? He can have 40,000 Twitter burner accounts if he wants to. It doesn't matter to him. He's just gonna do what he does, and if people are calling him out, he's gonna bite back, which is what a lot of athletes don't do. But he's big enough where it won't really affect him much. It'll be like, oh, that Kevin Durant. Or some people were like, ugh, that Kevin Durant. And then we'll move on. And then something else will happen. We'll see what the Nets do. They have to win a championship now. There's more pressure on them. Because if not, then they're failures. They are one of the bigger failures in the NBA history, possibly. So, yeah, but regardless, Kevin Durant, whenever you retire, come on to our show. We will have you.
Please?
Yes.
We love you.
Yes, we do.
And to kind of.
Oh yeah, we have another sponsor.
On one other thing.
Evil Genius 2. World Domination. All right, you get that.
Oh, that just recently came out, right?
Yeah, on Steam. So there you go.
On Steam.
All right. Okay, sorry.
I do have a second MVP to counter it. Because we talked about it last week, but I don't think we talked about it on the show, and I think this deserves some praise. Because I'm certain our dislike of the New England Patriots, it has to be because of Tom Brady. Tom Brady might have gone to Tampa to get a ring, and he won it. But the year Tom Brady left, Bill Belichick, we get to see his dog. He's shaving his head for cancer survivors and that donation. And the players just become better people. So I'm going to give that You Real MVP to player we talked about, Justin Herron, last week, who had saved a 71-year-old woman from sexual assault at the park, I believe. I don't think we talked about it last week, did we? Because I think it was, and then we forgot about it. But this is just someone who did the right thing when there's people who don't do the right thing. And they honored him over in the Arizona Police Department for his role in helping. At the Temp Police Department, they gave him an Outstanding Service Awards. And it's good to know that there's some humanity out there, especially with sports, because we always see about people donating, people helping out, providing in food charity and food drives. But whether you're a regular person or if you're a big star, there's some people who might not interfere in these kind of situations that happen. Yes, you can call the cops, and that's the first step, but 911 is not going to be immediate. To help somebody from being sexually assaulted, to prevent them, I believe he just shouted at the guy, was kind of imposing. I believe it was two guys, and then he just waited till law enforcement came in. It's just a good story. Some of those things that kind of tug on the heartstrings. So we go from Kevin Durant being petty in the MVP style, but we're going to go with Justin Herron for being the real MVP for just a good person.
Yes.
Standard for me. He plays offensive lineman. I hope he doesn't get cut. Bill Belichick, if you have to cut, you can cut Julian Edelman. I don't care. You have to keep this guy just for one season. Cookies. Edelman can go and revise his contract, or you can restructure camp, but whatever. But this is just such a, in my eyes, such a good thing as a sign of humanity. So he's a real MVP too.
Okay. All right, boys. Let's some other tidbits, some other news. The Miami Heat American Airlines Arena will be renamed after a company named FTX, who dabbles in cryptocurrency exchange.
When the hell did this happen?
Oh, no, that was some news that's been going down here locally. So
I was not
cryptocurrency. All right, I've got about 280 Doge coins, and I'm waiting for that to become the best thing I've ever done in about 20 years. So I'll sit down and wait for my Doge to go up in price. All right. And my beloved Miami Marlins have also got a name change for their ballpark, Marlins Park, which it has been known as since 2012, is no longer going to be Marlins Park. It is now going to be called Lone Depot Park. Apparently, it's a very lucrative deal. Our Lord and Savior Derek Jeter has brought down more, has gotten some donations and stuff. So we are, it's adding to the till, which is going to be great for us to be able to keep some guys, something that the previous regime couldn't do. So but the Marlins, they're gonna get some more money.
Depot?
Lone Depot, not Home Depot, folks. Lone Depot. So that's there you go. So some people aren't happy about the name, but at least they're getting money. And what else?
Let's be real. Aside from sports analysts and the commentators and media, no one goes and says, "Hey," often they go, "Let's go Lone Depot." It's like, let's go see the Heat play. Let's go see the Marlins play. Let's go do this. Let's go see the Yankees play.
I mean, everybody shortened American Airlines Internet to AAA.
You know? Yeah, so it's not it's just a bad name, but I don't think that it's the worst of the worst, because I know. Even in Miami, I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, Francisco, let's go to the FTX or whatever the hell it's called, FTX Arena. Let's go, man." It's not gonna come out. It's literally not gonna come out. The one time that would probably come out of my mouth to even acknowledge it fully, that's not show related, would essentially be this: man, you'd be surprised they put a big ass FTX symbol outside, and so we're not seeing the American airline. That would literally be the only one time in my life that is contingent on something else. So I think we're okay, in regards to
Let me say this. I'm still disappointed that the offer for it to be the Bang Bros Center was not taken seriously. God.
Oh boy.
They got enough money out of us throughout the years, they can't get any more, right?
Okay. So that's what's gone down here in South Florida. Names are changing. The Panthers are probably going to change the name of the arena by next season.
Well, it's going to be Truist, right? It's going to be the Truist.
And it's not because it's just the company merged. Now it's going to be Truist. So this will probably be the last season as BB&T Center. So things are changing. And so, all right. That's that news. Let's go on to, NHL. I just want to talk about this. Aaron Ekblad. I'm not. What the heck was that?
I thought that was you being kind of over dramatic, making music in the background.
Oh, okay.
Eric Ekblad. Oh, it's bad.
Oh, it's not as awful as it could have been. I will say this: Aaron Ekblad against the Dallas Stars got injured. Broke his leg. His legs got tangled with, I forgot who from the Dallas Stars, and then he kind of, as they were untangling, he landed on his leg in a funny way, and as someone who has broken my leg during a sporting event, it brought back a lot of not good memories. And I feel for the man, but from what we have been told thus far, it's only 3 months that he will need to recover. It could have been worse. It was like thinking about the MCL or the ACL, any of that stuff, and he's gone until next calendar year, probably, if that had happened. And who knows if he would have been the same player after that happened. But luckily, just broken bones, and just mend that 3 months. And people have calculated it out. If the Panthers were to miraculously go on a Stanley Cup run, I think the latest the Stanley Cup would be somewhere in July. So he would be recovered by June, and it could be a possibility that he could rejoin the team. But
so he's pulling a Stamkos at that point.
Stamkos was I would Aiken Stamkos more like a Kirk Gibson sort of situation. He came in for one game, had his blaze of glory, and then went out.
True.
That's basically what Stamkos did, and now he's fully back. But yeah, that could be a possibility. But then again, Ekblad's a defenseman, so even though he's one of the best offensive defensemen and a very good defensive defenseman now, he was having his finest season. I was on Chase Thomas's podcast last Thursday, and I sung praises for Ekblad, and suddenly this happens, and maybe my hubris, the hockey gods, have punished me in some sort of way.
Jinx.
Yeah, and I don't think my Lord and Savior, and our Lord and Savior, Derek Jeter, works in those realms, because it is not pertaining to baseball. So, gosh darn it, man. The Panthers are going good,
Barkov gets injured. My Swedish man crush now, Hornquist, got injured. And now Ekblad with a big injury. So I don't know what to think, guys. I'm not sure. And Shane Gostisbehere was put on waivers by the Flyers. He's a local guy from South Florida. Could use a change of scenery. He's a defenseman. Maybe the Panthers have cap space. Possibly. Who knows? Yeah, that's just a crying shame. Oh, let's laugh at a team. You guys want to laugh at a terrible team?
As long as it's the Buffalo Sabres.
Yes, it is. It is the Buffalo Sabres. Andrew, what happened to the Buffalo Sabres?
Well, I guess a better question would be, what hasn't happened to the Buffalo Sabres?
Oh, my God.
So, my dear Charles, time for a little bit of a learn-a-goof here.
Dime.
The Buffalo Sabres are an NHL hockey team residing in Buffalo, New York.
I know them, yes.
They are, let's say, an unfortunate franchise.
Yeah.
Let's say that they, you know how much bad luck the Buffalo Bills have had over the years?
Yes.
Tack that on with the Buffalo Sabres. The closest they've come to a Stanley Cup win was 1999.
Oh, gosh. Oh, Brad.
And I still get nightmares because I was rooting for them in that one. Let's call it debatable.
Well, yeah. Well, no, we've told Charles about this before with the skate in the crease.
The skate in the crease.
But let's talk about the Sabres now. The Sabres because that was a very, very different Sabres team.
That is very true.
And
so I wanted to set up a little bit of how.
Well, if anybody wants a quick, well, not a quick, but a very good summation of the Buffalo Sabres, check out Your Name Tree's last video about the contrast between the Sabres and the Bills. And they're both owned by the same guy, Terry Pegula. So it's kind of like the James Dolan situation with the Rangers and the Knicks. Although the Knicks are surprisingly all right for now.
So anyway, the Buffalo Sabres this year are currently 6-23-5, which means six wins, 23 losses, and 5 overtime losses.
What's their point difference?
So, having played 34 games
out of 56,
because this is an abbreviated season, they've scored a whopping 17 points.
Ooh.
Well, 17 points or no? They got 23 points. Or no, 17. Oh, sorry, they have 23 losses. I'm sorry.
Right.
I actually gave them.
They have fewer points. Than they have losses, Charles.
So.
Oh, and one other thing. Let me explain the point system. You get 2 points for a win, either in regulation, in overtime, or shootout.
Yes.
If you lose in regulation, you get nothing. And if you lose in overtime or in a shootout, you get 1 point.
So the Buffalo Sabres are mired right now in the longest playoff drought in the NHL as of right now. And if this
years?
Is it at 10 now? I think it's at 10.
It's going
to get historical.
It's going to get historical.
The Florida Panthers and surprisingly the Edmonton Oilers set the record at 10 straight seasons. And the Sabres, I think they're on their 10th right now.
I'll have to look that up.
So you can look that up while I explain this.
But I want to take this. I want this.
You want poor Jack Eichel.
I want this.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So, as bad as this season has been, Charles, the Nega Wings.
Oh, gosh.
So as bad as the season has been, Charles, the last month, basically, a month and 5 days, have been dismal is putting it nicely. They have not won a single game since February 25th.
Do you remember the beginning
They
of this?
have lost 18 straight games.
Andrew, do you remember the beginning of this season? And I remember when Johnny was on in your place, and we talked about the Ottawa Senators, and there was a point where we thought the Ottawa Senators, I thought, like, man, they are awful. They looked like they were going to be. I mean, they probably wouldn't even reach double digits in victories, and they were just the worst out of the worst teams. And now the Buffalo Sabres, I mean, gosh, man, you talk about
they're knocking at your door and they're saying, "Sir."
You talk about constructing a tank, kind of like what you can do in Evil Genius 2, World Domination on Steam. The Buffalo Sabres, they're going to be dominating the NHL draft lottery at this point, because, wow, what a fall. I mean, this tank is, and this is an inadvertent tank too. This is not a tank that they were trying to construct at all. This was a tank that they were trying to do something this season. They were trying.
It was an unintentional tank.
They were trying to get Jack Eichel to be convinced, like, hey, we got some guys, we can support you. Hey, here's Taylor Hall for a season.
And let me divert really quick here. So Jack Eichel, aka the Jackal, because Jack Eichel, very clever, is one of the best young players in the league right now. He is all of 24 years old.
He was the guy taken.
He is from North Chelmsford, Massachusetts, hence why BU said, Eichel, come home.
Oh, no, don't go to Boston. Please. Go anywhere else but Boston.
Played for for BU's beloved Boston University Terriers. He is really, really good. The problem is the teams he's played for have been really, really bad.
Gosh, man.
So
how long has he been playing on the main stuff?
He was drafted second overall, and the only reason why is because Connor McDavid was taken ahead of him, and of course, McDavid is amazing.
Even Connor McJesus.
Even the Oilers can't completely tank with him on the team.
Hang on a second. A ref collapsed at the USC Gonzaga game.
What?
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy. So, yeah, USC Gonzaga is happening right now. And they're at the 14-minute mark. And, yeah, the score has been frozen here at 17-4. So that's what's going down. Uh-oh.
Hopefully it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm checking it right now.
Okay, well, let me wrap up this Buffalo Sabres thing. So, the Buffalo Sabres' most recent travesty was they were up. They were playing against the Philadelphia Flyers, right?
Yep.
The fraudulent NHL team from Philadelphia. As we all know, everything from Philly is fraudulent. We all know this. Well, the Buffalo Sabres were winning 3-0 after 2 periods, and one would think, oh man, well, the Sabres are.
And let me remind you. This is a Philadelphia Flyers team that lost 9-0 to the New York Rangers, whose entire coaching staff was out with COVID, and they lost, I think, 8-3 a couple of games later. So again, this is not a good Philadelphia Flyers team.
They're 4 points above 500, but they've had some really up and down spells, and this looked like one of those down ones. Like, oh man, even the Sabres are gonna get one against Philly, but this tank, this inadvertent tank, this tank that has just bursted into Buffalo, has torn everything asunder. What a
nice vocabulary.
I mean, sheesh, man. the AI of this tank. All right, there's probably a T-1000 controlling this tank. The Sabres are not in control anymore. The tank has taken over.
I will appreciate that reference.
Yes. The tank has taken over. Oh, did it take over in the third period? It gave up 3 goals in the third. And, the Sabres took it into overtime. Well, no, the Sabres didn't take it into overtime. No, the tank allowed the Flyers to take it into overtime, where they then won the game.
So it's the Murphy's Law of hockey, essentially. Or are they just that bad where it's not even applicable?
Oh, man.
Because you gotta, it just reminds me of like the 0-16 Cleveland Browns, when there were some games that were actually close to winning, and then the heartbreak ensued.
I mean, no, this Sabres team is bad. This Sabres team is no bueno, Charles. Not good at all.
I mean, to only have 6 wins, I don't follow hockey, but I always associate it to the worst basketball team to ever be there, Charlotte Bobcats.
So oh man, I do have to shout out one guy. Or not shout him out, maybe condemn. I'm not even sure. Or just acknowledge and show what an awful decision that he made. So Taylor Hall could have gone to any contender in the NHL. Heads on over to Buffalo on a 1-year contract. Kind of probably had the idea of, let me go to 1 year in Buffalo. Maybe even had the idea, hey, I'm good enough. I could probably post up really good numbers at Buffalo, even if they suck. I'll probably be traded to a contender, maybe get a chance at a ring. Or if I don't, I would have had really good numbers, and I can get the big contract, the pay for generations of children's college contract, Well, that has not happened for Taylor Hall. In 34,
and to add literal insult, literal injury to insult, he got hit in the face with a slap shot from his own teammate 2 days ago. Which again,
funny. This is the guy that the visor rule is for too.
Which again proves my point.
Yeah.
There should be more full-face visors.
Once again, the same guy that instituted the visor rule. So, anyways, 34 games played. He's only scored 2 goals. 2 goals. The Sabres paid this man for 2 goals. He's got 16 assists. But, hockey assists, you can have the hockey assist, the secondary one. And, sheesh, man, you could sneeze on the puck and be given the secondary assist. So
but they're not paying this man for assists.
Exactly.
For goals.
Oh man,
Taylor Hall
What's their goal differential? Hold on, let me see. What is the goal differential right now?
Taylor Hall was the the super stud before Connor McDavid. Everyone thought, this is going to be the next generation. There's like a generational talent every 3 seasons. I don't know what the hell everyone keeps talking about.
No, it's just people.
Alexis Lafreniere was a generational
it's
talent.
the hype thing. There's never that many. There's only usually
the last
5
I think true generational talent. Well, no.
Like you got Alex Ovechkin, you got Sidney Crosby, and this one is Connor McDavid right now. Okay? And maybe Nathan McKinnon, I could say. So,
maybe.
So there you go. Those are the big guys. All right, but regardless, minus 51 for the Buffalo Sabres right now. In their goal differential. Man, this team is awful.
I'm assuming you know what goal differential is, Charles.
Yeah, well, now they're using that in basketball. They're using the differential term as well. So a lot of hockey stuff is going into basketball. All this analytics stuff is kind of seeping into each.
Ironically, I would say hockey has the best analytics.
Yeah,
because
hockey.
I think NBA should have the assist to the assist stat.
Yeah, WAR is now getting worked into hockey and basketball, which is weird, but regardless. Anyways, Buffalo Sabres. We can pile on these guys. That's enough. They are awful, and they should know it. And man, that tank is just taking over. They can no longer control it. No, they can only feed the tank at this point. And really, at this point, man, who's the next closest team? Nobody is near them with regards to. No, they're gonna get they're gonna have the most ping pong or lottery balls in the new draft lottery, the next one. So
what's the to remind a peasant?
They are 11 points ahead of everybody else, or behind, however you want to see it. So what was your question, Charles?
What's the new lottery style?
Oh, we talked about it. We talked about it last week, where they're just gonna try and prevent the Edmonton Oilers style of things, where you can get multiple number 1 draft picks within a 5-year period. Now yes, they've limited it to just 2, and winning the draft lottery only moves you up 10 spots. So 11 of the 16 teams that don't make the playoffs will have a chance at it at the number 1. So there you go. But that's it. All right, that's the Buffalo Sabres, everybody. It just man. Oh, I don't know how those fans feel. Maybe Andrew can kidnap a Sabres fan or writer or somebody that knows, and we can figure out what they're thinking.
The Sagona smuggler always gets his man.
Yes, he does.
Hey, you write for the Buffalo Sabres? Come on over here.
In season 6, we'll see where that tank is at that point, and see if he can smuggle in somebody from the poor, just destroyed ruins of the city of Buffalo, except for Ralph Wilson Stadium, or whatever the heck they're calling it right now. So there you go. All right. Oh, man. Where are we at? We're at the 40-minute mark. Can I do a small segment, guys?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Can I present something just to bridge us over? Because we got some trade stuff to talk about as well. So I wanted to do this one. Let's get a little cultured. Slight culturing. Let's go to uncultured swine. And I was looking around trying to find a team. I'm like, oh, this one looks interesting. It'll be quick. The Capitanes de Ciudad de Mexico. All right.
Say that 5 times fast.
The Capitanes de Ciudad de Mexico. They were established in 2017. If you guys don't know, that's the Mexico City Captains in English. They play in the Liga Nacional de Baloncesto Profesional. And really the only notable thing that I have here is that they will be joining the NBA G League next season. So
I like that.
The NBA is the G League at least is expanding into Mexico, and pretty far south Mexico. Mexico City's really south compared to every other team. I can't imagine the travel expenses to go from one to the other, but yeah, imagine going from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, all the way down to Mexico City. That is a long trip.
I wonder how they're going to do that with the virus protocols still in effect.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. They were supposed to join the league this season, but because of the virus, that was postponed, and they're looking for next season, but I would assume that is also up in the air, depending on how vaccinations for the virus goes in both countries, really. So,
oh my God, Francisco. What? Sorry to interrupt. Florida is beating Detroit 3-0 right now at the end of the first.
Don't. Are you trying to say this like the Buffalo Sabres, or are you just like, hey?
No. I'm stating a fact.
Okay, all right.
that's for any team, that is a huge margin to have after one period.
Yeah, I know. But it always brings about the whole like, oh, they're gonna have a lull, and then a team can always come back. I mean, the Red Wings aren't the worst, as we all know right now, and they can surprise. They've surprised the Panthers. They've beaten the Panthers this season. So I'm not gonna let the Red Wings. I don't know. I don't want them to sneak up on us. So, but it's encouraging at least. They've got the rallying cry now for this season. If they start going on a miracle run, it's gonna be all for Ekblad for sure. Do it for Ek. All right. Yeah, so they play. Oh, the Capitanes play at Gimnasio Juan de la Barrera, Mexico City. Opened in 1968. holds about 5,242, and that's where they played the volleyball tournament at the 1968 Olympic Games. So there you go. Little learning, little culturing. There you go.
To pick your brain real quickly, do you think that would open up the doors for international players to go to the G League? That might not be on the radar for, not like the way Chris Stapps and Luka and all that stuff, but maybe be an invite for those other people that want an opportunity. Because G League with the two-way contracts and everything, give an opportunity for guys to get those roster spots. We've poached plenty of them before.
The NBA is trying to, get control. Really, I think they're really pushing for all of this international appeal. So going into Mexico is one of them. And I think that team, the Capitanes, were just a group of guys that wanted to get basketball back on the map in Mexico, and that's why they created that team. And I guess the NBA saw that and was like, yeah, let's help you guys out there. And of course, the NBA wants to push their foothold into Mexico. So I think it's a smart thing for them. And I could see international players coming to the G League for that reason. Heck, maybe the NBA could. Maybe this is like their first experiment into internationalization of their minor league system, and maybe, hey, start experimenting. Okay, let's see how the logistics go, traveling to Mexico and all that stuff, and then who knows? The NBA is already in Canada and the United States. The NFL has always talked about London. I mean, gosh, could you see the NBA going to London? I could see them doing that. I could see them finding a way to work around the schedule for that.
I mean, London, I just try to think of where a lot of the international players come from. It's always Spain or one of the Eastern European countries.
But the thing is, London's like
localization, sure.
London's, I guess you would say, is central to Europe. Well, not really, but I mean, it could be Paris as well. But I think London would probably, just for the language factor alone, would be where the NBA could target expanding that way, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, and I think it works differently than how you haven't had it recently because of the virus. But a lot of players would go to China until their seasons were free up, and then they come around once the buyouts were completed in the NBA. That's how a lot of players kind of got put onto playoff rosters or teams, and they got a second chance, because that's really what happens. You would go overseas, get your second chance opportunities, play well there, unless you're Stephon Marbury, who just said, I'm going to be a Superman over here and score like 60 points a game and be ridiculous. And him and Jimmer Fredette, the only two who, because I'm going to say right now, Stephon could have handled the NBA. He just couldn't handle New York, because New York were dicks, for lack of a better word, with the Knicks. But Jimmer, it never transitioned well, but I think the last time I checked about Jimmer Fredette, not a player to remember yet just yet, but he was dropping like 40 points a game over there in one of the Chinese leagues. And
BU suggests here having an entire European division, so away teams could do a Euro swing. Yeah,
do you all remember the Starbury line?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Good time.
Yeah.
Good
so
time.
Put a team, maybe like a 4-team division with Paris, Madrid, London, and Berlin, possibly. I could see that.
Is that too big of basketball, though?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, man. But I can't see that. I'm just thinking about
West Coast ball as it is.
I'm just thinking about. I mean, yeah.
I think you need the owner who would put the initiative out there. Like in the NFL, there's Shad Khan, who is really big on the overseas games, and we always joke that it's going to be the London Jaguars at some point.
But man, I could see the NBA trying to have like a 24-hour cycle of just games. Okay, the European games start out in the morning, and then the West Coast games at night. Just have.
I mean, honestly, their better bet is just to create NBA Europa in the off season for American.
I mean, I could see them doing that too. Possibly,
I would watch it.
Possibly buying up some of those Euro leagues and be like, let's just make our own NBA Europe, like the NFL Europe experiment, but this time it'll work because basketball is more popular. You can sell basketball to people out there.
Remember when we were watching Korean baseball when the shutdown first started? But I didn't watch much of that, but I would watch European ball. It's one of the things that made the Olympics exciting, just on Olympic rules, because it was not comporting to the NBA, because you can always appreciate people of their style. I think Ricky Rubio kind of showed that.
Yeah. Just thinking about the baseball experiment. I think because Major League Baseball sucks at marketing right now,
Very much so.
They really should be working hard to get those Asian markets, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan. There are places that, even Australia watches baseball, so there are places that they can just try and influence, but they just suck at it. They just do. All right.
Yeah.
Andrew.
Yes, sir.
Another hockey topic. Let's do hockey this first half, mainly. Tim Peel.
Yep.
Yeah, this'll get us over to the halfway point.
Yep.
So
poor Tim Peel.
I know. He was retiring after this season, too.
I know, but he goes out as a total scapegoat.
All right,
let's hear about this, Charles.
Let's introduce Charles.
No, you have to educate me a little bit on this, guys.
All right, I want to go.
Too much has happened
in
the basketball world, and my attentions have not been on hockey.
Let me do the preliminary, Andrew, and then you can go into what he did. So, NHL. Well, you've been to a hockey game. Charles, you know
I've been to several.
Yeah, you know that the refs, just like in the NFL, they're mic'd up as well. And every time there's
him. Yes, I know that guy.
Yeah.
He was trying to intentionally find something to call and get the other team in trouble.
Okay, so
he was a little punk ass about it.
Exactly. So, man, over the years, man, I've loved watching the hockey guys video on YouTube about this. And he's a Vancouver Canucks fan, also a Bruins fan, but he lives out in British Columbia, so he's a Canucks fan. And he's just like, I remember back in the 80s with Roger Nielsen putting up the white flag thinking the refs were against them, and how that shaped me as a fan early on when I was a kid. And now that this has gone on, and every team in the NHL, every fan base thinks that there are calls that are going against them without merit. And it just seemed like, man, they're just having makeup calls. And it's something that has been known unofficially by a lot of people. If you've been watching hockey for a long time, you notice things. All right? Their makeup calls are a thing that happen in all sports, really. We can't say that this doesn't happen in the NBA, or this doesn't happen in Major League Baseball, or this doesn't happen in the NFL. Exactly. Bless you.
I was just clearing my throat.
Oh, I thought that was a sneeze. It sounded like a sneeze. But, well, Tim Peel. Andrew, what happened to this man?
So, Mr. Peel was caught on a hot mic saying, well, let me give a little bit of background of the game. There was a fairly weak call against, I think it was against the Red Wings earlier in the game.
It was, against the Nashville Predators.
Against the Nashville Predators early in the game, where the dude basically flopped. But it was called as a penalty. So in the second period, another weak call was called against Detroit. And sorry, 1 second. Okay, I'm back. And he's caught on a hot mic basically saying, I wanted to get the team on a penalty. Essentially admitting that he was making a makeup call for the weak call earlier. The NHL immediately, quote unquote, fired him, which in reality they just said he's no longer going to be working games for us because
he's suspended indefinitely, which he was retiring anyway, so he is done.
He just gets an early retirement.
And remember, we also have to note the Tim Peel himself as a ref. in the hockey world. A lot of people have a lot of problems with him over all of these years that he's been working. He's not as beloved as Wes McCauley. And so this, for a lot of people, this kind of vindicates some of their feelings towards him. I'm using a lot of big words.
Wes was at our game we went to, right?
I use a lot of words.
I remember you guys pointing him out.
Oh yeah, me and Andrew were like kind of fawning over him as he passed us by. Yeah, we're like, holy crap! But yes, that was Wes McCauley. But yeah, Tim Peel doesn't have the same reputation. Anyways, sorry, Andrew, continue.
So the NHL says we take this seriously. Our fans insist on fairly called games. We insist on fairly called games. Blah, 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 blah. Total bullshit. And again, I say he's a scapegoat because everyone and their mother, a little 5-year-old knows that there are makeup calls in the NHL. We hate it. We wish they didn't happen, but they do. It's a part of the game. We understand that. We're still pissed about it. I guess it's almost kind of like robot umpires. We hate when umpires, looking at you, Angel Hernandez, make shitty calls on balls and strikes. We know it's going to happen. It's a part of the game. We are going to get pissed about it. But when you introduce the idea of robot umpires, everyone gets pissed because it's taking something away from the game.
Not me.
Kind of in that same vein.
I welcome our robot overlords.
Kind of in that same vein, everyone knows that these makeup calls exist. We all hate them. We don't think they should happen, but we accept them. Kind of. So the NHL is like, oh no, there's no. It's like, no, freaking admit it, guys. Say
they can't. They can't, Andrew. I mean, they can't. They can't, or else it questions the integrity of the game. Also, and I think this is a futuristic ploy for gambling in the future. Once sports betting starts becoming legal in more and more states and across the world, these leagues have to have, or at least have to put on the face that things are going all right, that nothing is influencing the game, and that calls are being called the right way and by the book. So, they want that DraftKings sponsorship like the WWE. Well, that's a little preview.
We love a little, a little setup here.
I'll wait to ask this for the cage, but anyway, yeah, it's in some ways the NHL piss off more people with this feigned, such an indignity. It's like it pissed off more people because it's like you're letting this dude take the fall for something that we all know exists. It has existed from the beginning of time. It will continue to exist for the rest of the NHL.
I mean, they're trying to save their butts because, they could have, I'm just thinking of it from the NHL standpoint. It's like, well, we could suspend him for, I don't know, a week, whatever you want to say, a few games. He doesn't call games for a few weeks. He does some sort of, we acknowledge he did some sort of, reorientation, even though it's his last season of his career. He reread the rule book. I have no idea, any of that stuff. And then he comes back. But then there's always going to be the question, which in any game that he would be in the referee crew for, is, Tim Peel's here. Look out. And there's going to be more complaints, more players are going to be yapping, coaches are going to be yapping, fans are going to be yapping. And the NHL didn't want that fallout. They didn't want that fallout at all. Whatsoever.
And let's be honest.
Now, if they had him calling only Buffalo Sabres games for the rest of his of his season, I think that would have been the happy medium for everybody.
Let's be honest here. In the grand scheme of referee controversies, this is nothing compared to whatever that dude during the Lakers Kings series back in what's his face.
Well, yeah. Well, there was Tim Donaghy, yeah, or even the Kings versus the Lakers in 2002. So yeah, this goes nowhere near. It was a regular season game. The Red Wings aren't making the playoffs. Maybe even the Predators aren't making the playoffs. So it's probably not going to be. It's pretty inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. And it's just kind of like one of those the NHL kind of deals. But yeah, I think we need to make a petition now. Let's go on change.org. Bring Tim Peel back, but he can only call Buffalo Sabres games. I think he would just straight up retire. He's like, nope, I quit. I quit. I'm done. Nope, no for me. Oh, boys. Well, that took us to the halfway point, gentlemen. So it means it is a word from our non-sponsors, people, places, things, concepts, what have you, that we've been enjoying over the last week. Andrew, I've been enjoying your non-sponsor from last week. Let's game it out.
Aha!
That dude's hilarious. I love it.
Funny shit, right?
Yeah,
funny
it is.
Shit.
It is incredibly funny. You have to check that out. I love the Planet Zoo ones. Those are the best of all of them. It even makes me want to get Planet Zoo as like hey, I can play with this on stream with my nephew or whatever, or my niece. And at the same time, I'm just like, I really feel like killing a bunch of giraffes. Oh, Freddie's going to start us out today.
Mountain Dew Rise.
Mountain Dew Rise. Metal Gear Rising.
All that is, except it's probably
which I have yet to play, Charles. I have to buy that when it goes on sale.
It's going to be a fun 12 hours that you should play. Buddy.
Yes. Metal Gear plus Platinum Games. Sounds good. So yeah, Mountain Dew Rise.
So I guess I haven't gone first in a while, so I will go first.
What is it? Oh my goodness, look at this ad campaign that they got here. Focus to make the future. There's LeBron.
Oh, listen, they make some decent energy drinks at Mountain Dew because I like their amp, and then their other one, their Kickstarters.
Look at LeBron.
At law school.
Mountain Dew Rise Energy. Oh, so he transferred over from Sprite. He used to be a Sprite dude. Now he's Mountain Dew.
Look, Sprite, Mountain Dew, they're both color green, and he cares about money.
Yeah.
Chipwich.
Chipwich from BU. Let's take a look at that. NWHL players love them so much they commit ice crimes to get at the secret stash in the penalty boxes, or so the NWHL Twitch chat.
Chipwich, the original ice cream cookie sandwich.
Ah, yeah.
Made with real vanilla ice cream, rolled in chocolate chips and sandwiched between two soft-baked cookies. That sounds freaking delicious.
Indeed, it does. Look at
BU
that.
knows how to speak to my high-calorie, high-cholesterol heart. Oh, those are so good. Yeah. They have a name?
They got a birthday cake variety? Look at that. Cookies and cream, vanilla chocolate chip. That is... Ooh, the diabetes. Might be worth it.
I'm gonna divert really quick off of my non-sponsor. Okay. But you saying diabetes reminded me of the carcinogenic diabetes that is Peeps flavored Pepsi.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, did you try it? Did you sacrifice your body?
I have not. I never will.
That's not something Charles would even contemplate. You guys know.
Here's the thing.
Charles the guinea pig for everybody.
Here's the thing that's unfortunate. I love Pepsi. Pepsi is my favorite soft drink, especially wild cherry Pepsi.
Damn right.
I hate Peeps. My hatred of Peeps outweighs my love of Pepsi.
Wow.
The only thing that Peeps are good for is blowing up in a microwave.
Or giving to kids on Halloween just to see them cry.
Oh, and by the way, BU, congratulations on, I assume, your Boston Pride winning the Isabel Cup.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That happened. They were finally able to play some games.
Defeated the Minnesota Whitecaps, I think 4-3, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was a pretty close game.
It was a very close game. It was 4-2. The Whitecaps brought it within 1 with 19 seconds remaining in the game. Empty net. Alas, they could not seal the deal in those 19 seconds. So another trophy goes to Boston, and
Boo.
Victor Hedman is injured, and I am pissed.
And
that was a big hit. I'm not going to call anything. Sorry, I'm watching the Tampa Bay Lightning.
The hockey gods are trying to balance things out. We lose Ekblad, you guys lose Hedman.
And I rarely get angry at referee calls because it's like, oh, you know what? The guy slid into him on the ice. That's unfortunate. The guy was sliding to try and block a pass, and his momentum just took him into the boards and Hedman. So that sucks. Anyway, back on track. So my non-sponsor, it's funny that BU mentioned cookies or cookie product because my non-sponsor is Crack Cookies.
Nah.
Do y'all remember Crack Cookies from FIU?
Wait, who sold them? Who sold them?
It was the little convenience store that was right by it.
Oh, that's right.
That little convenience store
what
in
was it called?
University Towers.
The Breezeway or whatever? I forgot what it's called.
Something like that.
I can't put Crack Cookies. I don't want to. I'm afraid of what will happen if I put it on the screen.
Peepsy, a good one. I like that. Peepsy. Like Beepus. We got Peepsy.
I'll try and search for it, but gosh,
my guess is you're not going to be able to find it without something else coming up that is not good to have.
I'll just put shops and cafes, shop FIU. It might turn out there, but regardless, explain.
We just put FIU Crack Cookies.
I'm afraid of what will happen though if it pops up on the screen. Don't need the banning in 2021. All right, we just got our video sponsorships back. Come on now.
So anyway, Crack Cookies, very good. They do have other varieties, but the true Crack Cookies, are the chocolate chips. Very fresh, very yummy, very gooey, much delicious. They sustained me through at least one final study period. I remember I was part of a study group for, I want to say, Crim Law? Breezeway cookies. But we got a whole bunch of Crack Cookies as well as the brownies and other tasty desserts that they sell there. So yeah, Breezeway cookies, Crack Cookies, gotta love them. Promo code Gooey Goodness.
Gooey Goodness. Okay. All right then. Well then. That's. I think I've only eaten them once, ever. I was more health conscious back then. At least first year of law school.
Did you see the picture of that hat that I sent you from the FIU bookstore?
Yeah, the Panthers, the FIU Panthers Vice hat. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, everybody's got one.
You got to get in on that, man.
Everybody's got one now. Gosh. Let's see. My hat. I haven't bought a new hat in a long time. Well, not a long time. I think last Christmas I got a Miami Heat hat. Never mind. But yeah, no. I'm good. I'm good with spending right now. At this moment, I just bought a new video game. And no, I'll do my non-sponsor. It is a video game, guys.
Okay.
So, it's a game that I have yet to beat, but I will probably beat it sometime this week because I am on that trajectory at the moment. It's an oldie. Well, I guess relatively old at this point, but Need for Speed Most Wanted, the second version of the game. Although the first one's not bad either. I didn't complete that one, but this one I probably will complete. Need for Speed Most Wanted by EA Games. So EA, count your lucky stars. Count your lucky stars that I'm not bashing you this week. Sometimes, let's see, this game was released back 2012. So you guys did something right 8 years ago, or 9 years ago now. So, but you guys really suck. This is a horrible non-sponsor, but. But Need for Speed Most Wanted. Guys, every once in a while, and maybe it's thanks to Dougie Souls and me watching his Twitch streams, I get the need for speed. I get the itch to play some racing games, and Mario Kart 8 just doesn't do it. I need some semi-realistic action. Not too realistic. I don't want to play Gran Turismo and that stuff. I don't know nothing. I don't know what a carburetor is. I just want to get inside the wheel. Not inside the wheel. Get behind the wheel. I mean, getting inside the wheel would be kind of weird. And just go. So Need for Speed Most Wanted gives me that satisfaction. And this is pretty much an open world racing game. You get this giant city, which is BU. I guess, I don't know if you've played this game, but it heavily looks like Boston. Like, heavily looks like Boston. That bridge, I don't know what that bridge is called, the one next to the TD Center, or TD Garden, whatever. They got that bridge in there. They got this one government-looking building that I know I've been to. That's in the, like, it's basically Boston. It is basically Boston. I don't know what other city it's mixed with, because usually they mix influences from two cities, like, I think Need for Speed Underground 2 was like a mix of LA and Miami, which was kind of cool. But this is Boston. This is Boston, and it's good, man. It is good. I can't really find many faults with it. It's not glitchy. I'm playing it on Wii U, by the way, but it released on the Xbox 360 and the PS3 and PC. Get it on the PS3 quickly now because they're about to shut down the PS3 store online. I mean, you can find the physical copy, but yeah, it's a good one, man. You got a bunch of cars. My favorite right now is the Aerial Atom V something. Basically looks like a go-kart. So that one's my favorite thus far from playing it. And the crashes are spectacular because the developer of this game is the one who developed Burnout. So the action it's damn good, as GameSpot has said. And I mean, the entire premise of the game is to defeat the most wanted. So you defeat the 10 most wanted people that in this game, and they have their awesome car, and you beat them in the road. So it's that, and I think I need to defeat 2 more guys and or women, I don't know, they're kind of featureless drivers, to beat the game. And I've been streaming that a lot on Twitch lately, so if you guys want to check that out, you can. So promo code vehicular manslaughter.
That went dark.
And well, I say that because the way you defeat the most wanted, you defeat them in a race, and once you defeat the race, if you want to get the car that they're driving in, you have to basically make them crash. And some of the guys are so hard to beat that when you finally beat them, you feel like nothing but killing them at the end. It's very satisfying, I will say that much. It is very satisfying to just destroy them and kill them at the end. It's fun. So there you go. All right, Charles. You can go next.
So taking into Francisco wanting to kill people, my non-sponsor is somebody that almost killed somebody that I know, and I had to save their life. So, boys, I guess I'll tie the two stories together because it's kind of funny. Boys, as we know, I am still, I had a solid 2 months of my life, starting my 2021, where I couldn't get all the things I wanted to eat. Why? Because we got the wisdom teeth taken out, we got fillings, we had a root canal done, and then we had to do a placement with a crown, all these things. And so there were certain foods I cannot have. So I went to one of the other places, the other offices that I worked at the other day, and they had a high supply of candy. And I haven't had this sugary sweetness in so long. It's basically what I would imagine the saliva of Mr. Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers would taste like. I haven't had Skittles in such a long time, months on end. Couldn't have any of that hard candy, that caramelo duro, as my ancestors would tell me. And I got that, and I got some Starburst, but I haven't had the Starburst yet. But I got that the other day, and I inhaled that bag. It was just, it was so good, boys. It was delicious. I love me some Skittles. When I was a kid, man, it was the rotation at 15 was Skittles, Hot Cheetos, and Starburst. Ain't nobody gonna put me down. And if I am on an onset for diabetes, we know why. It's because of damage I did from 15 to 23. And then working for certain nonprofits always gives me the benefit of free candy with the food banks. I will harass that job just for the holiday Reese's cups, but getting full-size Skittle bars? I know they're not bars, but full-size bag of Skittles? Ah, thank you for shelter, for knowing that I want that stuff. But it was so good. It's just I don't know I don't know if you guys like to just kind of take all the same flavors. I don't know if you guys like to take just mix them all together, but I will mix it like a color painting and put it all in my mouth and just enjoy just letting it just take me in every way, shape, or form in my mouth. And I love it, boys. I love it. It's just so dang good. I love me some Skittles. I feel like I can't stress enough of it. And if you hate Skittles, just don't talk to me. We're breaking up. It's over. I'm done. They ain't happening. But Skittles, one of the better kind of candies. And what I've had to tell people is the difference between candy and chocolates. And it's just so good. Maybe if we ever do and maybe this is a sneak preview, because even though kids, we're going to be on the off season, we still might be around for a very interesting kind of draft. Hint, hint.
Yes.
That might involve either fast food or bad food.
The NFL draft. We have some plans.
I'm going to be the Cleveland Browns of the fast food, bad food drafts. Just taking anything with potential.
We need to combat my apathy for the draft and all drafts in general. Yeah, that's gonna be
Skittles. Fun. It's so good. I love it. Promo code Taste of Rainbow.
Yummy.
How do you guys feel about Skittles?
I like them. Yeah, I like them. I like the chewy version of. I guess I always think of M&M's versus Skittles. They're both made by the same company, right? So I would assume.
Probably.
Yeah.
Now I have a question for you, Charles.
Yes.
Do you ever just put a bunch in your mouth and just suck on them and let?
Of course. That's why it's the I'm certain that's what the mixture of Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers' saliva spit would be in my mouth.
Yes.
Straight up.
Oh boy.
You just know.
Okay. Well, now we're into the second half, gentlemen. And I guess we should talk about some things that went down. Andrew, your favorite part, the NBA.
Definitely my favorite part.
Funny.
Lately, at least.
Well, NBA trade deadline went down, and guys have moved around. Guys were bought out. Guys went to other places. And Charles is feeling some love and some hate, some petty going into this.
May I start?
Yes. Go ahead.
So I told you guys, LaMarcus Aldridge, you a hoe. You a straight up hoe. You want to go to Brooklyn? They already got you in Blake Griffin, man. You want to go to Brooklyn? Are you going to start? We had you ready. The plan was working in every way, shape, or form. And you go to Brooklyn and you leave me. You leave me to be choosing between two former New Orleans Pelicans of either, I don't know how to say it. It's like Belishma or whatever his name is. and possibly DeMarcus Cousins. You hold Marcus. You had your opportunities. I'm not even mad Andre Drummond going to the Lakers because he's been the perennial shit show, shit storm for any kind of teams from his time with Detroit and Cleveland. I think he only made the playoffs maybe twice in Detroit, so I get it. I'm not going to crap on Andre. His game's limited. We talked about it on one of the shows, I think, when Brandon was on about how bad he was shooter. But you know what? I'm not going to hang on. But LaMarcus, you were all about earning your winning culture. You were in Portland. You went to San Antonio. We were ready for you. It was happening. It was set up, and you got cold feet. And we should have known. We should have known. Our good friend Jeremy Taché, swinging and misses. Breakfast at Jeremy's. I find that very entertaining. I don't know if you guys watch. I like it a lot. To get my little recaps if I can't watch some of the games. But I bring it to the point of I was ready for you. You're 35 years old. You were going to get a chance to probably get starter minutes. And now you're just going to ride the bench. And remember this. You ain't going to get that ring in Brooklyn because when I said it with his name was John, right? The other guy that we were talking about? I forget. Not John from hockey, but John from basketball. You got to remember. It's been a couple
yes.
back.
Yeah, it is John.
I was saying that Brooklyn wasn't going to get there. Granted, James Harden, MVP all the way. No debate. Fight me on that. Don't give me that Luka Doncic stuff. But you are going to settle for an Eddie Curry championship ring if you make it this year. Granted, there's nothing to say that he is anything if not the best 7th seed you'll ever see in your damn life. But we're going to be loyal. We can put on makeup too. We got a fancy new eyeliner in the name of Victor Oladipo. We went to Lush for that. We didn't go to Walmart. Your team's a collection
Victor
of Walmart
wanted the
beauty
culture,
products.
by the way.
He wanted the culture, and he's still young. I mean, granted, for a forward, you can veteran forward, you can still be viable. But I think with Brooklyn, they were just going to use you as the veteran presence. We actually need your mid-range jumpers. We needed your outstanding defensive ball skills. You a holo, Marcus. Good luck. I like you. Always liked him as a player. I've seen him live because he was in Portland the year the Big Three were in, and that's what was like my first Big Three game, and that was like the first time I saw him. And Brandon Roy and all that stuff. I've always liked him. I loved him in San Antonio. It's just he missed the window by like a year. But you hurt my feelings. Because where's he going to play on that rotation?
Yeah, he's kind of...
Tell me, what's his minutes?
He's the really... Yeah, he's just there to
use Eddie Curry, son.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Eddie Curry.
I'm just saying. But think of it. I mean, granted, not bad in potential. There's two different players. I'm not going to throw that lie, but I'm talking about the effect that you're going to get in a ring because they're scary. That team is scary. Brooklyn is scary. The humble pie. Listen, I'm not going to eat the humble pie on them because they have to win it all in the position they put themselves in. Because what I say about Harden, I didn't say they were going to implode. I didn't say they were going to go down the ship. I didn't say they were going to miss the playoffs. I was going to say that it wasn't going on. Oh, Freddie, we're going to talk about that Magic. You best be sure we're going to talk about it. Don't you worry, son. But I still don't see it, and I don't know. You want to know why I don't see it with Brooklyn? Are they going to gel if they're all healthy together? Everything has basically been. I don't know how James Harden can get to the line all the times because his balls be slowing down because they're made of pure steel. I have enjoyed watching him play this season. Undisputed MVP.
I just want to know what the dynamic would be like in a 7-game series against a team that would, at that point, have scouted for them that long. It just depends on who they're matching up against. I mean, either Philly or Milwaukee or, and I'm saying this with the Miami Heat, the Heat are...
Best 7-seat team?
Well, they're 8th right now, but...
We're going to get some.
But I feel like this Heat team is kind of akin to... I guess this New York Knicks team that's on the screen right now for NBA In the Zone 1998 for the Nintendo 64. That Knicks team that was an 8th seed when they really shouldn't have been an 8th seed. They really shouldn't have. They were probably a higher seed, and they faced up against the Miami Heat who were the 1 seed. And
they got him.
They got him.
Got him.
Even though that was basically a 1 versus 2 matchup in the first round. So
let's talk about the happiness, though.
The Heat look like that. We're going to see. We haven't seen a Depot game just yet.
But why are we happy, Francisco? Because we got rid of the small O.
Oh boy.
For the big O. So the prophecies have come true. Call me Charles Stradamus for the most part.
Charles's Kelly Olynyk hate train. Finally,
with me on that train.
finally left the station, baby.
Finally gone. Traded him out. I don't even remember what he got sent to. Kelly, you were good for like those 2 years, but I got sick of him missing all those threes. I got sick of him missing jumpers. Yeah, You're like 7 foot. Just put the ball back in.
Yeah, he just...
And it's hurts it with LaMarcus, but...
couldn't score for nothing this season.
Nope. And we sent it to Houston. We swapped picks, so we got rid of an expiring contract. We swapped picks for whom? The guy who wants to be here. The guy who basically probably said, hey, Mickey, hey, Pat, take me because I'm going to re-sign with you for the amount of money that you can give me.
Yep.
He turned Oladipo. I wish Brandon was on here because he could gush about the Victor Oladipo because that Pacers team is not good with him or without him right now. 22 and 25, I think, and it's just Sabonis and. I mean, Karras is not fully back, but Sabonis and Malcolm Brogdon kind of doing it. But you always kind of miss a scorer. You always kind of miss a good defender.
Shots and stuff,
Yeah, but you always kind of miss it. But we got that for nothing. An expiring contract and a second rounder. The minute I sent it to you. You know I was happy. We won the trade deadline because we gave up nothing because it was pretty evident we were not going to re-sign Kelly Olynyk. And we got a guy who I'm almost, and listen, anything can happen in free agency. There is no loyalty in this game. Your job is to make money, especially Oladipo, because he's been around for a long time and doesn't feel like it. Originally started as he learned at Magic, Freddie. And he's just kind of been bounced around. But you know he wants that permanent home. You know he wants something close to that. And then you end up coming to us and because I think he can get
Dwayne
a 4-year deal, probably
the great recruiter.
$88 million.
Dwayne Wade, the great recruiter. Even after his retirement, he is still getting guys to come on over. I mean,
so does that make me the Dwayne Wade of our show?
Getting people to come on here, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well, I kind of like the narrative of you smuggling people in, just kidnapping them, bringing them here against their will. a little bit.
We like a little bit of the smuggling.
We like knowing that you are indeed our moral compass, but you have a dark side beneath you.
Okay, Dexter Morgan.
Hey, he's in Miami.
He's in Miami. It's a good boon for us because what this gives us, if healthy, that's a big if, but even if the Heat are like under 500, unless we're going like the full Toronto Raptors, which way I'm going to reverse my humble pie course and say I told you guys so because Toronto sucks. I didn't want Lowry. I didn't know Oladipo was going to be available
anywhere anyway, so...
Yeah, I thought he was going to the off-season, and Miami, I thought he would be a good prize pick for us, because for Riley, when you're going for the big whales, the idea is, what's your definition of the big whale? Is your big whale in length, in girth, in fat? How much oil, how much blubber am I getting from that whale? And that's how we looked at Oladipo. Fits a defensive position, has scoring. We know he's hurt. We'll take that risk. Everybody's hurt on the Heat, and we're still grinding it out. We have coaching. We have the foundation. And when everybody says culture, they don't understand the term culture. The culture is about just no excuses, grinding it out. Hard work leads to winning results, not pure talent. We are not the 76ers who just rest their laurels on he's got potential because he's a first-round pick, because it does feel like that with the 76ers. Because I'm going to crap on that. Because what was the best thing about this trade deadline for Miami, too? The 76ers did not get better.
Yeah.
They got George Hill. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they would have been in better play to try to get Lou Williams, to be honest with you. Because, side note, I love Atlanta getting him. Really do.
Atlanta's...
because it continues the scoring.
Atlanta's turned it around with Nate McMillan, former Pacers coach, out there teaching them defense. But I was listening on...
accountability. Teaching them accountability, man.
Yeah, well, they got... Rajon, mostly for the playoffs, I would assume, but also they're trying to get as many guys to kind of avoid because without Trey on the floor, they are not good.
No scores.
They are not. Trey does everything for them, so they just need as much as possible just to find a. They're just trying to get out of that 7, or was it the 7 through 10 seed, the qualifying round. They're just trying to find a way to stay above and not be 7th. They're just trying to be 6th at this point, which Miami and Charlotte in the division now doing
Charlotte's
all right.
An interesting team.
Yeah. I mean, they beat us.
If I like him
recently, but we still don't have Depot. That's the thing.
Thing is, everybody is beating everybody in the East, and that's the problem.
It's hard to get a gauge for anybody. And we just beat the Knicks, and the Knicks are the best defensive team in the NBA. But we are also like the second best defensive team in the NBA. So it was basically that. It was the Heat just kind of ran away with it after a while. They had some big runs in order to beat the Knicks last night. But yeah, it's hard to gauge where people are. We don't even have a real gauge on the top teams. Really, everybody's just trying to find a way to beat the Lakers at the end on the other side, and
that's a team that everybody's saying, oh, they're done now, but it's like everybody will be healthy. Everybody will be healthy.
Yeah, LeBron learned in Miami the regular season. I mean, come on, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
You saw what happened with the Warriors.
It's a better position.
Warriors won 73 games in a season. Didn't matter at the end if they didn't win the whole thing. So the same thing for the Lakers. All right, we'll win 55 games, head into the playoffs as a 2 seed. Doesn't matter to us.
Okay.
So
let's break some hearts though, because Orlando Magic fans.
Yeah, I wanted.
Talked about
so
it.
Andrew, if you're alive back there.
What?
We're gonna talk about Orlando, your beloved city.
Oh. Yeah.
You're the one of the 4 major pro sports that are there. Though you're one team, the Orlando Magic, the pride of the what's the slogan for Orlando? The City Beautiful.
The City Beautiful.
That's a slogan for like 20 other cities, but get
them.
Get
really. I've only found one other place that has that nickname. That's Coral Gables,
okay.
But we had it first.
Okay. Well, if you want to learn about some history, there was the whole movement about the City Beautiful, and back in the late 1800s. Go read a book if you want to. Go to your local libraries where I spawn every few years. Go do that. You'll learn about the City Beautiful. But yes, your beloved City Beautiful, your beloved Magic. No bueno. They are constructing a tank at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one on purpose. This is not the one that just destroyed Buffalo. Surprisingly for them, no. This one is on purpose.
No one likes it.
No, nobody likes this tank at all.
There's some tanks you like.
Yes.
There's some tanks that you like.
Nobody liked this tank, Andrew. You guys have the most hated tank in basketball at the moment. And we, on our Twitter page, have nominated you to be the new GM of the Orlando Magic.
I saw, and I humbly accept the nomination. Andrew,
what would you do if you were the general manager of the Orlando Magic, knowing nothing or next to nothing about the National Basketball Association, but loving Orlando?
I would find people that were smarter than me to at least advise me on what the hell I'm supposed to do. But I guess more importantly, I talk to people in the city because, ultimately they're the ones that are buying the season tickets, that are going to see the games. If you're dealing guys like Nikola Vucevic, who's a fan favorite, and he got choked up when he was talking about leaving Orlando in his introductory press conference. It's tough to lose guys like that. It really hurts the fan base in the city, makes you lose confidence. I mean, case in point, look at the Marlins 3 gazillion times.
Come on, man. You couldn't have gone for the Rays. You guys dealt Blake Snell. Come on now.
But yeah, it's stupid. It's ridiculous.
Charles over there is a Yankees fan. You guys keep everybody.
Get damn right. We'll overpay even the bad ones, just so you guys don't get them.
Giancarlo looking good. Made out of glass.
See, the thing about Orlando is, at least with Oklahoma, when they were tanking, and they got rid of superstars. Russ, who is an animal. Did you see his score last night? 34 points, 20 assists, almost broke Scott Stiles' record, and 10 rebounds. He is now averaging a triple-double again this season. So, yes, he is a very, selfish player in that regards, but damn it, at least he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, stats are good, but that's the thing, though, because he's thinking big picture. Hall of Fame, and he's going there. But it's not like the Thunder, who got rid of all that and just harvesting like all these first-round picks because they'll get back into play. Who did the Magic get to Chicago when you couldn't even get Laurie McKagan? You got Wendell Carter Jr. Could even fleece in Kobe White? I don't know. You get rid of Ben Gordon, who I thought was overrated. We talked about it on the show what we have with Brendan.
Aaron Gordon.
He did what he had. Aaron Gordon, I'm sorry. I think of Ben Gordon, he's thinking Pistols and all this other stuff. That's a callback, right? But Aaron Gordon, he's over in Denver. I think he fits Denver perfectly, to be honest with you. Denver was missing something, and now you have it, and you get to have Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Jokic, and Gordon in that lineup. And it's like, okay, I'm big interested because Denver was the most unremarkable 1 seed a season ago or 2 seasons ago, and the most unremarkable 2 seed or 3 seed a season ago. But they kept getting there, and Mark Malone, whatever his name is, Malone, is competent enough to kind of get Denver into a very interesting kind of play of things. But you don't get like another name to come big into it. I kind of get to a degree getting rid of Vucevic because you had drafted Mo Bamba 2 years back, but it's not like Mo Bamba. Vucevic was a late bloomer anyway, but he had just been around for so long. But Evan Fournier, who I'm not crazy about, he was having kind of like an off season. I don't remember where he wanted to. And then Gordon's out. So you let 4 guys out. So Freddie is going to be crying in his fantasy league, but hopefully
so he has like that work? 40 other teams, as he often does.
But no, wouldn't you keep those players though even if they got traded out? I don't imagine, like, obviously I think Vucevic is just going to kind of suffer a little bit because of playing time if him and McKagan are splitting out, unless they're going to make McKagan like a power forward, but I still think that's too many bigs on the body, unless McKagan's still out. But it might not be conducive to the scoring points and the rebounding that they get there. But it wasn't a bad trade deadline for them. It was a terrible trade deadline for them because of the fact that I don't know what your future is. You have basically mortgaged it on one bad season because I believe they made the playoffs last year. You're still taking consideration 7 through 10 is the little mini play-ins, which is kind of doable in the East if you get a I kept them because I don't know if you did a fire sale, so that's why I just had to make sure. But it's not a situation where you kind of like bail out. There's always a possibility for a hot run because now you're starting the second part of the season. But to do an implosion of your roster because either you're cheap or because of the fact that you just don't want to deal with disgruntled players anymore, like Aaron Gordon won out, which is fine because he was probably up for a second contract. He's still a young guy. Does that make Chicago scarier, though, to you? Because they're kind of like on the cusp of mediocrity to above average, but I think Vucevic has earned his position in that sense of being a competent player and getting a rebounder and a good grinder and put out. The guy was an all-star last 2 years. I think that's a benefit to them. I wouldn't want to play them right now. I talked a lot of trash to Zach LaVine. Don't make me eat that humble pie. If for some reason the layout from 4 through 8 leads to us being like a number 4 and they're 5, ugh. Don't give me that, but yeah, that's my thought on Orlando.
So I'm trying to see who their general manager is. It's currently John Hammond, and he's been
around for a bit, right?
He's been there since 2017, 2018. I was just trying to see if this is. I mean, this could be his big play. I'm sure. Was Vucevic there before he got there?
Yeah, I think Vucevic has been there since 2012.
So. I don't know if
it's just he earned that big contract in that first year as an all-star.
I mean, I don't know if he's just trying to hit that reset button and get all the guys that are his on this team, possibly, and construct the team his way. Let's see, what was his past?
But what is his?
He was the NBA Executive of the Year back in 2010 when he was with the Milwaukee Bucks, they went from 34 to 46 victories, and the Bucks did nothing after that.
I mean, but here's the thing. You trade away the guy with the contract who's actually a good player, but then you reward to Markelle Fultz, who was just we like Markelle in the sense of him getting an opportunity, but I don't think he was really worth the money they got. And this year he was hurt. So and they have been brought by injuries. All teams are. That's why you have to build a well-constructed roster. I would at least from slots 1 to 12, everything else is just a gimme and a try.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the Magic are thinking. I don't know what's the deal.
There's anything else that caught your eye on the trade deadline team-wise?
Aside from the big players that we know about in Atlanta, not really much else for me. I think we kind of covered everything that stuck out. Okay.
I would say this. I don't get the Clippers getting Rajon.
Well, they're getting playoff Rajon. That's what they're trading for. That's what they want.
What? Veteran leadership? The guy would literally jaw jack in your face. And there's a lot of say what you want. I like Kawhi, but
yeah, well,
soft. I said it. Paul George, playoff fee, man, bricks. So if he's bricking, Kawhi's walking on one leg, and then Rondo, the only person who bought Rondo as being the legitimate guy that you want on your team was the Dallas Mavericks when they traded for him back in 2012. So, because you need that scoring because you don't have Montrezl Harrell anymore. The rest of that other team is very deficient. So you get a guy who's a great basketball IQ, knows how to pass in lanes, but where's your shooters? It's a very different team, and I'm not necessarily sold on Tyronn Lue as being the definitive coach. And I'm saying that knowing that he has an NBA championship because that Cleveland roster was just stellar.
Yeah.
Right?
And you had
LeBron. I'm like, and you had LeBron, and you had
Kyrie hit that. Kyrie hit a big shot. If Draymond doesn't do what he does, they probably don't win that. I'm just saying. We all know this.
I mean, I know Lue was not doing good, but hasn't Lue kind of earned it to be? You need a clutch. What do you need more? A veteran guy who has all that experience, or a clutch shooter on your bench or on your team?
Yeah, you need a clutch
and maybe
shooter.
He's not. Clutch is a very weird kind of definition for a guy who's been 3 years 6 man of the year, but 6 man is just
that's why they have Udonis Haslem. Just be that he's the veteran guy at the end of the thing, but he have everything else, and that's and Udonis knows his place. If the Clippers just traded for their own version of Udonis Haslem, oh boy.
Clippers, yeah, but but there is a big difference between Udonis and Rajon.
I'm just saying. I was just making that comment. Rajon's still
it's a good point to make, though. But Rajon rubs dudes the wrong way, though. That's the one thing people need to understand is that he's not Mr. Love. Do you want to know? Because that whole Chicago incident, when it was him, Jimmy, and Dwayne.
Yeah, well,
there was some fists being thrown there.
Well, there were factions
too much ego.
Between. Yeah, well, there was a fact. We won't get into that. But there were some issues there. But okay, I think that's a good summary of the NBA trading deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd like to request a segment or a topic, if you will, if we can.
Okay. Yeah, we got. Yeah. What you want? Frozen 4? Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, I've been chatting with BU over here, and he's given me a huge rundown for
the tournament.
For his thoughts on the opening rounds, and I'm just going to read them off here because it'll be quicker. So the Midwest Regional. Frankly, neither result was unexpected. While we thought American International might be capable of the upset, North Dakota was able to get on the board quickly. AIC went into utter panic mode after that, and that's all she wrote. AIC's upset stemmed from being able to play defensively and attack on the breakout. They weren't suited to playing an attacking game against North Dakota, especially after only having played 2 games in the month leading up to the tournament. Duluth and North Dakota are pretty evenly matched, so a tight game wasn't entirely unsurprising. Duluth definitely looked like the better team, though, and of course almost had won it twice before finally getting the game winner. That's the 5-0T one, by the way. I think, though, there is a case to be made about working in the backup goalies in multi-OT games after Duluth was able to make the substitution have it work out, while North Dakota's goalie ultimately was just too slow on what would be a routine save in regulation. And just as a personal note, that is something that I saw BU mention in the chat during the game, is that when you start getting into really long games like that, you're going to see really crappy goals go in. This one was, I probably could have made the save. I'm not putting down the goalie in the slightest.
Probably gassed by that point. Sheesh.
He was gassed. It was just a shot that just went straight in the 5-hole. 99% of the time he would have stopped that. That's a quick and easy stop. But it slipped by him. He was tired as hell. He'd played 8. They were going into their 8th period. So East Regional. Frankly, Bemidji had no business being in the tournament based on their record in the WCHA compared to how certain other teams did in stronger leagues. But damn if they didn't take full advantage of the situation of Pants, Wisconsin. The Badgers were simply outplayed, outcoached, and lacked cohesion while letting Bemidji control the middle of the ice. Contrast that with UMass, who was deadly goaltending and defense, and were able to pick apart Lake State and Bemidji en route to blowout wins of their own. The only reason I didn't pick UMass to come out of the region was because I assumed they would be facing Wisconsin instead. But it seems Greg Carvel has finally figured out again who his starting goalie should be. And Lindbergh is the man who carried them to the title game in 2019. And just as a note, so the tournament was canceled last year due to the virus. But the year before that, 2019, the finalists were Minnesota Duluth and UMass. Duluth ultimately won. So this is the second time in 2 seasons that UMass has been back to the Frozen Four. Anyway, so I think UMass actually winning Hockey East Conference this time around gives the team a confidence boost. West Regional. Didn't watch Minnesota Omaha since it started and ended during the overtime. So North Dakota.
Yeah, other game. Yeah, an entire game was played during the overtime of another game.
It wasn't surprising. Minnesota State Quinnipiac was definitely as much about Quinnipiac blowing it as much as it was about Minnesota State finally getting a tournament win, considering that Quinnipiac was up 2 with less than 2 to go, but gave up a pair of dirty goals that really did not have business giving up. Minnesota State, on the other hand, well, I stand by my original comparison. We were chatting in the Discord server
while watching the games,
and I asked him what was the comparison to Minnesota State upsetting Minnesota, and he said, "I stand by my original comparison to a Michigan App State in the college hockey system." They're clowning on me because A, this is a game that on paper Minnesota should have won handily, but B, people tend to ignore / forget that App State was the class of the FCS at the time of that upset. The WCHA is a weak-ass conference, and I still don't think Minnesota State is that good, especially in light of nearly losing to Quinnipiac. But it's also ultimately not that shocking that they could pull off the upset.
I think it could possibly be compared to the 2007 NBA playoffs when the Golden State Warriors beat the Dallas Mavericks.
I'd have to leave that to
Charles knows what I means.
That's what
but
that was
Baron Davis.
Yeah, Baron Davis and Don Nelson. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Those Warriors.
So I don't know what Motzko is or is not doing to prepare his team, but first it's St. Cloud State, and now should also know that Minnesota State has been the regular season champion in the WCHA for the last 3 to 4 seasons in a row. Good to know. So first St. Cloud State, and now with this vaunted Minnesota squad, they came out flat against an opponent they really should have been able to take care of business against. But just like Wisconsin Bemidji, Minnesota was just being flat out outworked by the Mavericks, and it seems like Minnesota was barely even trying. And then there's the Northeast Regional. Boston St. Cloud State is arguably the wackiest game I've ever seen. In terms of the teams themselves, BU losing wasn't entirely surprising because the team has no structure on offense and basically relies on getting breakaways in transition to generate offense. This has pretty much been the case since David Quinn initially took over as coach. But those two incredibly fluky goals that St. Cloud State scored to get on the board initially were all sorts of ridiculous. I recommend just taking a look at the highlights. But this game had it all. Pucks magically floating to open men in the slot, ping-pong goals, hit so hard the fucking boards were cracked, a penalty shot by the shorthanded team during a major penalty, attempted fights. And by the way, fights are not allowed in college. Since neither team winning would really be chaos, it seems that the hockey gods decided to break out all of the other crazy events instead. And then Boston College, St. Cloud State. I think that one just came down to Spencer Knight not really being able to keep his shit together during big games.
That sounds great for Panthers fans.
Especially with him constantly kicking off the nets during the first two periods, it was amazing, guys. It was amazing. In the first two periods, he kicked the net off the moorings 5 times. 5 times. Like, at that point, we're like, come on, you've got to call delay of a game penalty.
That's
here.
Our feature goaltender right there, baby.
Most of the time, it was done when St. Cloud State was in the offensive zone. And then, sure enough, the one time that they were in the offense, the couple of times that they were in the offensive zone and the net wasn't kicked off, they scored. So it's like,
So...
Don't
worry, Roberto Luongo will have a good talking to on him. Don't worry, he'll get him straight. He'll set him straight.
So at a certain point, you have to think it was being done on purpose to slow down St. Cloud State, since they were unable to otherwise establish a rhythm to start. Once the nets were sorted, though, they were able to get establish sustained attacks to keep Boston College hemmed in the zone. Frozen Four predictions. St. Cloud State 3, Minnesota State 0. St. Cloud State can be hot or cold themselves, but their defense is rolling, while Minnesota State's goalie Dryden McKay was shaky as hell during the regionals, and I don't think he'll be able to handle the pressure of the St. Cloud State attack if Comesso or Knight couldn't. Minnesota Duluth 1, UMass 0 in overtime. Both teams have stout defenses, and this UMass team is definitely better than the one that got routed in the 2019 title game. But I think UMD is just a tiny bit better. St. Cloud State then thwarts UMD for their first national title. So that's the quick recap from our college hockey analyst. We'll see. Here's something amazing that was really cool. 3 of the 4 teams in the Frozen Four are from Minnesota. So you've got Minnesota State, which is out of
hockey, baby.
It's the state of hockey. You've got Minnesota State Mankato, you've got St. Cloud State, and then you've got Minnesota Duluth. I think it's the first time that one state has had every hockey tourney game has either gone to OT or been won by 3+ goals.
Jekyll and Hyde.
But yeah, I think this is the first time. This is what happens when you don't have proper seating. So yeah, I think this is the first time that any state has had 3 teams in the Frozen Four. And something else that was very interesting note, the Big Ten Conference had 4 teams in the tournament. 2 of them were eliminated from the outset because of virus. That was Notre Dame and Michigan, if I remember correctly. You guys will have to correct me, BU or Freddie. As BU mentioned, Wisconsin got embarrassed, and then state of Michigan in '92. Okay, and then who was the other? And then Minnesota lost to Bemidji. It's on the screen, but yeah. So yeah, the Big Ten sucked. Had a terrible, awful, no good, very bad playoff. If there's anything that do you have any questions for BU before we move on, or?
No, that's as concise and well thought out as you can get, for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I will certainly be on the lookout. April 8th, everybody, for the next, the semifinals. And then we'll get to the finals. On April 10th, games being played out in Pittsburgh. And, all right, it's been that kind of season. Well, it's the end of the show, boys. We know where we're headed. It is time to head off to the cage with Charles. Senor Charles, are you ready?
I'm ready to break it down. Welcome, everybody, your weekly Truplex The Cage with Charles. Full disclaimer, wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It is a staged fight. It is a chase for glory. It is about men and women beating the holy hell out of each other, wanting to cut a little blood in life, want to get the revenge that they need, want to put their name and legacy, to point at big signs like WrestleMania, to concede when you are losing, such as NXT going to Tuesdays now instead of Wednesdays. Also because NBC, of course, is shutting down NBCSN, so they got to put hockey somewhere. And sometimes it's just about damn good entertainment and damn good comedy. And sometimes it's about making real bad decisions that you hope pays off in a long time, or else you are stuck with Stockholm Syndrome and you're thinking that a certain title design is pretty when it's really pretty ugly.
So Charles, 1 second. Our friend of the show, Jeremy Taché, has just put here, I guess Barry Jackson also, the P in Lone Depot Park will be lowercased. Lone, the L is lowercase, the D is capitalized, and the P in Park will be lowercase. So that's how the Marlins are going to be doing things for the next few years. Joy!
Well,
our Lord and Savior. If it is what he wants, and we cannot question him.
It's Stockholm Syndrome. You have to learn to love it, right? Even though you're initially against it. Learning to love it.
WWE fan would know that for sure.
Yeah, because it's going to segue us to a couple things. Learning to love it, even though you're against it. So, guys, I watched Fastlane. I watched Fastlane on Peacock. For those who have not been listening to the, I guess, 90 episodes that we've been introducing the cage. WWE sold off their licensing rights to the WWE Network, to NBC Universal, to Peacock, so they can be the primary place for all WWE content, not named YouTube. So essentially, my WWE Network subscription was canceled. I had to go get Peacock. Excellent deal. 4 months for $250 each. Jump on that. There's already been kind of hiccups for some people, considering the fact that there's going to be edited content to make sure it's up to the cultural norms of what Universal is seeking, and also what WWE is actually doing on their platform. Because remember, this is just for the U.S. only. Peacock only has it for those rights. So anybody who's international, and unfortunately it doesn't work if you're getting international VPN, the WWE Network is also scrubbing in those difficulties. Why? Because WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, is a publicly owned stock. So in today's cancel culture climate, Triple C, you're going to want to do something that's not going to upset everybody. But good luck, Peacock, once you get to the ECW days, once you get to the Attitude Era bra and panty matches, and then the oddities, First Blood matches, Mr. McMahon making out with Trish Stratus, that still gives me nightmares. The fact that Vincent Kennedy McMahon has touched the lips of that goddess, that's creepy. Very creepy. Super creepy. But wrestling's also what, guys? A circus. It's a theater. It's a parade sometimes. Soap opera as well. That's when the storylines kind of came in between. But with all the graphic gore, because WWE had the licensing rights to this, not WWF, WWE, WCW, ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, guys. So it's pretty graphic stuff that you're getting there. Barbed wire, a lot of blood. I like it, but it's interesting. So I tried out Peacock. I watched Fastlane. I didn't watch Fastlane last show because it was kind of like a throwaway pay-per-view, and I want to do some other stuff. The pay-per-view was bad, but there was 2 matches that helped out. If you go on a C range, it was just like a C minus a C pay-per-view. But shout out to Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. That was a great match. I liked it. No DQ, anything goes kind of thing. They have many names for it, but they just beat the holy hell out of each other. And I liked Roman versus Edge. I'm sorry, Daniel Bryan with Edge as a special enforcer, because now Edge has seemingly turned heel. I don't think he's the bad guy. And we're going to talk about that in a second when we go to SmackDown. But the road to WrestleMania has kind of begun. And using Peacock's app gives me some concerns because I don't think you could pause during live shows. So if I have to go to the bathroom, what's going to happen there, right? I'll have to really hold out till the match is over. Have to do it during a throwaway match like Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman. We'll get to WWE in a second, I promise. But this is what I have, and I'm paying less money for it than I was paying for the W Network. So why am I bitching, right? Because I want the library content, but they have all the WrestleManias. So I've already been able to watch some of my favorite WrestleManias because it's a long 8-hour workday, 9-hour workday working at home. And I don't want to put on the final, continuing season of My Hero Academia that I'm on because I'll get caught up into it. And I've been on Attack on Titan. We've been redoing that because I never got to season 2, and I'll get lost in translation. But to put on WrestleMania 25, which is probably the best WrestleMania, which has I left off at the start of Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, which might be the best WrestleMania match out there. I really should get a top 10 WrestleMania matches that I've seen and I've witnessed before the WrestleMania show, which is next week. Was that William Regal in the background? Yes, it is. There's so much stuff going on, guys. This cage could be an hour in itself if I didn't kind of like hodgepodge McGosh at all. But Peacock's what I got, and I got used to it, as does everybody else. So let's talk about a few things before we get to the road to WrestleMania. AEW, congratulations. You get to watch me. I get to watch you every Wednesday because NXT, as you see, William Regal is now moving to Tuesday nights. Now, NXT was not winning the Wednesday night war as it was dubbed. I don't know how if it's going to be a war if it was just for a year. We'll call it like a little battle, but they were splitting ratings. Neither of them really broke a million either. So this move benefits both sides because NXT will go as low as like 600,000 in the Nielsen viewings and the demos, and AEW will win the demos, but they hardly cracked a million. They had a hard time getting onto the 800,000 viewers. And here's the thing you guys got to consider. For NXT, it is really like the weekly show because they have a little bit more pay-per-views or what have you. AEW would have these long stretches of no pay-per-views. So sometimes they'll have this special event stuff like Winter is Coming or St. Patty's celebration, whatever the hell they called it. Granted, I still love that Britt Baker Thunder Rosa match. It was so good. But some of those matches would matter, like big time. They're trying to propel it as like a mini pay-per-view segment, and to only get about 700,000 viewers is not good. I mean, granted, you're getting money through the sponsorships, and TNT's trying, man. They had Shaq on there, for Christ's sakes. They give Brandy Rhodes and Cody Rhodes their own reality TV show because that's popular. That's really just stealing WWE's fold, though, because WWE has Total Bellas, Total Divas, Miz and Mrs. They would have a real world wrestling if they could. Don't put that out there. Vince is going to steal my ideas. I'm not going to compensate it for it. So they're winning not because they kind of beat NXT a little bit in the ratings war, but just because they might get to a million of viewers each night. Because if Raw is averaging about 1.8 million each night, and mind you, some say it's because lack of live crowd. I think it's just because the storylines are lame. That's it. But if it helps push AEW to 1 million views each night, that goes for the long-term extension because right now there's like too much wrestling for them because they have AEW Dark that airs on Tuesdays, which is on their YouTube channel. Now they have AE Dark Elevation. So you get to see other wrestlers are on there, but they don't get Dynamite time. And they're not big enough and they're probably not financially profitable enough to have a Raw, SmackDown, NXT component, but this is a win for them. And I think it's also a win for NXT. NXT beforehand used to be on just the WWE Network exclusively. They only got the USA deal because AEW was kind of growing in, so Vince went cutthroat. For Universal, it's probably better to have something that's live original content than showing either a Modern Family rerun, especially since the show is finished, or a Law and Order SVU run, which basically finished in my eyes when Elliot left. So this gives a new component for them. So they're going to Tuesdays. I like it because that means Monday I get Raw, which I really haven't watched Raw because part of the problem with the Road to WrestleMania, guys, is that When the matches are set in stone and the stories are bad, I won't care about the stories until I get to WrestleMania, because what does WrestleMania matches usually get before everything? A vignette of everything that's going on. So I get caught up to speed, or I can just watch it on YouTube. Especially since March Madness. We even talk about March Madness today, guys. The March Madness matches have been great. I've watched a lot of them. There's been a couple blowouts, and I'm saying it right now because I don't want to forget about it. That was a foul, ladies basketball, women's NCAA. Baylor, she got fouled. I don't get it. The player for Baylor. But Gino and Rieva get to go on to another Final Four. Corrupt. That's how I feel about the NCAA all the time. Is that Kirishima in the background? Damn right, it's Kirishima in the background. Can't keep. I'm a weeb, man. You can't keep that away from me. But NXT is going there. Speaking of NXT, they're doing a Gauntlet Eliminator Battle Royale because they have a pay-per-view next week. They're doing NXT Stand and Deliver. They're splitting into 2 nights. So night 1's going to be on USA. Night 2's going to be on Peacock. I kind of like it. I kind of like that idea because it benefits both sides. It benefits the live TV, and then it benefits people who want to get the Peacock promotional deal. Because I'm telling you guys right now, if you like wrestling, it is inexcusable to not pay $10 for 4 months worth of content. Cancel it afterwards. I don't care what you do, but it's literally nothing. You were paying $10 a month for the network, so now you're getting 4 months for the same price. NXT usually delivers on their shows. I think there was only the In Your House that I didn't like last year. So what they're doing tomorrow is getting Gauntlet Eliminator match, and then so night 1, and we'll go more full diving because I'll tell you now next week's 100 episode cage is going to be NXT and WWE fully, but they got some stuff going on in there. So AEW, good on you for kind of getting there. NXT, I care about your matches. We'll talk about more next week. The whole thing about the Battle Royale is the last 6 men left get to go to a gauntlet match on night 1, and on night 2 they go against Johnny Gargano for the North American Championship. Unnecessary because Dexter Lumis is in it. He's the one that's been having the storyline with Johnny Gargano predating about 3 months ago. So for story purposes, I don't think Lumis needs to win a gauntlet match in order to get a title shot. You could just have it be there because they're kind of like semi-feuding. He kidnapped Austin Theory. He's turning Indy Hartwell against him. He's ruining the Way family. Now, however, if this is just to utilize everything to give me Roddy Strong versus Johnny Gargano, Pepper's going to need some new shorts, guys. I'm going to be so excited that, I'm going to have, I'm going to be wearing diapers to change myself because Roddy Strong can go. He has been underrated as a performer. He's been highlight. I loved him in the Undisputed Era. They're officially broken up. Sorry to tell you guys this. Adam Cole won, Kyle O'Reilly, unsanctioned, night 2. It's going to be chef's kiss. But utilize this because Roddy is built for the endurance. So have him build the story of winning the Eliminator, of having survived 1 week of a battle royale, then going to a night before winning Eliminator Gauntlet, and then going against Johnny Gargano, and you can have Johnny win and still have Lumis take it off on an NXT show, because what better way, I feel, to crown a new champion than the new day for the show to build people there, because that's how you kind of make people want to watch the Tuesday match, right? You say, hey, Johnny just won a very hard match against Roddy Strong, but this Tuesday he has to go against Dexter Lumis for the title, main event, North American title, because that stuff matters. That's logical booking, but that's the problem. I'm smart, and sometimes Vince isn't. We got to talk about the real monkey, because we're going to WWE in a second, but we got to talk about the real problem. So New Japan unveiled their unified IWGP, International Wrestling Grand Prix, World Heavyweight Championship. So if you saw photos of the original IWGP title, it was nice. It was black with a lot of gold. And the Intercontinental title was white labeling with white strap with a lot of gold. They've merged it. Coda won them both. This was the problem with the double belts. And then they give me this title. And I've seen it in the video of the unveiling. I saw stills of it, and it's not like the U.S. Championship, which I think is the most recent title that got unveiled, because we're not counting the TNT Championship because it was not prepared, unfinished, but they still showed it, and they gave me the finished product, and then Brody died, so they gave the finished product to his son, and now they gave us the one that's actually better. This is stuff that was like planned on. We're not going to constitute TNT one. I love the new WWE U.S. Championship. People hate it. I think it looks like an oversized Super Bowl ring. I think it's perfect, truthfully, to be honest with you. And then I look at this thing, and there's just so much trash on it. People hate it. They think it's like the Divas title that was in WWE for a long time. I don't even think it's that at all. I legitimately see it as, you mentioned, that looks like a Transformers sign for like the Decepticons or Autobots.
This guy's from the Wonderful 101.
Yeah, but that's the thing. What it reminds me of is like the little bell symbol from Super Mario 3D World, where you can become a cat. That's what I think of for some reason. The bell crown, whatever it's called, the bellflower. That's literally what pops to mind. Because I think I know what they're going on. They're looking to wear it as, because if you try to imagine, it looks like a crown with a world on it, which is okay in theory, but the execution to work out because it looks cheap is the word I want to say. And I don't know if I like it because I get the idea that World and Intercontinental makes no sense. So you could have done
So
something.
I guess these are the past ones that we're seeing back here.
Well, those are all the titles. So you have the Intercontinental title that was unified. You have the Heavyweight title that was unified. You have the Junior Heavyweight, which is for the Cruiserweights, and to the right is the United States title, which is held by Jon Moxley right now. So they're all like in between. I don't hate the United States title really. I think it's fine. The Junior Heavyweight's fine. I actually don't like junior titles because a lot of them, once they're done being that, they get called up anyway to the main level. But I don't know if I like it because to me, the best heavyweight championship, and I'm biased, is the big gold belt from WCW days. And of course, when it became WWE World Heavyweight Championship, because bring that up. Just bring it up if you can right now, because we got to go and articulate this in comparison. Because on that title, that big gold belt, it has like the weird little shape structure that comes in with the little groovings, but in of itself, in
which one are you talking about? I have here.
Type in WCW Heavyweight Championship, and maybe it'll come up. Because this one's no longer in current existence. Mind you, I do like the AEW World Heavyweight Championship because it looks like something from combat sports. But to me, the most perfect heavyweight title is always going to be WCW's Heavyweight Championship. Also, when it was rebranded as the World Heavyweight title, it's the big gold belt that was made famous for for Ric Flair coming over from WWF, said he was going to bring over that big gold belt. But it's huge. I have a copy of it. I love it. It was $300 well spent. I don't care what anyone says. I have no purpose for it. But what I do is at work, whenever we did like the inter-program agency stuff, employee of the years, stuff like that, I just hand it off to them. It's like that little prize thing. But I love it. It's so cool. But the way they did it, it was the big world. It was two guys like grappling each other. It had like the indents and the groovings. And then we looked at this. Look at that beautiful thing. Have you ever seen anything more beautiful? My firstborn will not be as beautiful as that championship.
You can buy it on Amazon.
Well, I have it, so because kings take care of kings. But look at that. There's a crown on top of the world, and if you look at that, and you look at what the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship looks like, I feel like there's a certain mimicry to it. And it doesn't kind of work. And Coda was coming out. I sent you that tweet with a link. I'm like, Coda looks kind of miserable because I don't think it looks stupid, but I don't think it looks good. Some people really just hate it. I don't hate it. I just don't think it was fully necessary. But when you think about it, if your other two belts were like a standard size gold with a black strap and a standard size gold with a white strap, what do you get out of it, right? How do you make that better? You kind of can't unless you make it like the world bigger, but they could have done a little bit better with it. And the problem is you're stuck with it. You're stuck with this for a long time.
Docs leaked for.
Oh my God. Yeah, it does. Damn it. It does look like Cody's neck now. Holy crap. It does. It does. It really. And I hate that tattoo. Cody, we love you. Follow us on Twitter, FJOJR, Deathly Holidays, Charles the True, Sports Goose. Damn, I hate your tattoo, bro. Like, or you have confidence to pull it off. But that title, I'm not crazy about that title. So that's a big fail on me, bro. And now you can't even own it. You have to just keep with it and go from there and pray not a lot of people see it because it just looks awkward on Coda. So if it looks awkward on Coda, it's going to look, I would say the WWE NXT UK Championship is pretty up there in quality. How is it going to look on when eventually Shingo Takagi comes in? So let's talk about New Japan real quickly. There's a pay-per-view this weekend, Genesis. It's going to be Genesis Sakura. It's going to be Kota Ibushi defending his new, Mattel-plated title belt, like a Mattel-made title belt. Mattel is a toy brand for those who don't know. Going against Will Ospreay and the Empire. I don't think Will wins, but if Will wins, holy crap, will that cause a lot of problems. I'm just ready to get to Kota versus Shingo. I feel like I've been deprived that. I know Will's the better bet now. I had to eat that humble pie about being wrong, but I'm interested in seeing what they're doing there. So that should be good. I'll YouTube it. I don't know what the other matches are. I haven't really been paying attention to it. I think they're going to have Jay White possibly going against Hiroshi Tanahashi. I'm kind of done with that. I believe those two went against each other at Wrestle Kingdom, and that's what led to Jay White reclaim or winning the original heavyweight championship back then. But we'll see what happens there. I'll have to get the full card, and maybe I'll do like live tweeting. I don't know how to do any of that stuff, but always have to be subject to change because all cards are subject to change. And what else is subject to change? The road to WrestleMania. Give you guys some updates. The matches are kind of confirmed. We're going to go a little bit more in detail about next week because I promise you it will be a WrestleMania-filled cage. But Daniel Bryan's going to be in a triple threat, guys. I was kind of right about it. I called on the show 2 weeks ago, and I hire me, Vince. I know what's going on. So Edge turned pseudo heel Andrew at the end of Fastlane because he was the enforcer. There was some screwy stuff that goes on. He made Roman tap. Daniel made Roman tap to the yes lock, but it was like the Liza tap. But granted, the counter argument is Roman did have Bryan beat 1, 2, 3 on a pin, but the ref was knocked out. But basically, Edge got hit with a chair by Bryan. Edge lost it, hit everybody with chairs because it was awesome. He's a tweener. I love it. And then Roman pinned him. And then what happened on Friday Night SmackDown, he's going to Adam Pearce and just say, hey, don't add Bryan because all Bryan freaking does is steal spotlights. All he does is steal spotlights. He hogs WrestleMania moments. And that's an interesting story because it's true. 2 cases in point. There was the Royal Rumble that Roman won, to which he got a title shot against Triple H, and the crowd made such a stink about it. They had Roman versus Bryan at Fastlane for the storyline purposes, where the condition was if Bryan won and beat Roman, he goes against Triple H at that WrestleMania. Unfortunately, it was Roman versus H at that WrestleMania. It was trash, but that was the whole thing. Bryan had to be into the momentum of being a fan favorite and then, inserting himself in the picture. And then a couple years prior, and probably one of the best main events and also WrestleMania stories was Bryan kept getting screwed. It was supposed to be Randy Orton and Batista. The yes movement was too strong for him, and it led to Bryan versus H in the opener. I don't remember which WrestleMania. I think it was WrestleMania 30. Don't quote me on it, but you can. I'm probably right. I'm probably wrong. We'll see. And then later on, it was Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton versus Batista, where he had his WrestleMania moment and won the title. I think he had to, of course, relinquish it because of injury, because that's always what happens. So Edge is like, I won the Royal Rumble. I came in number 1. I outlasted everybody. I outlasted you, Daniel Bryan. And you're telling me you deserve a title shot because you made Roman tap when the ref wasn't there? So they get brought in, and I like the story. Some people are like, oh, that doesn't mean Edge is this because he wasn't drawing as a face. No, I just think that Vince realized 2 things. One, Bryan is such an excellent talent, and there was no feud to put in for him as a one-off match that you rather insert him. And I'm all for triple threats. I'm all for using the best talent that you have available. I don't need every talent to be used, but I'm all for the best talents available to be there, to be utilized. And then 2, it also goes to show what I believe from seeing a couple matches with Edge currently is that he's still kind of slow and rusty. And with triple threats, you can hide a lot of people's weaknesses. But I don't think anybody should be complaining about Bryan or Edge or Roman, especially when now you can gamble it on it, boys. See how I bring it all back on the foreshadowing? So WWE and DraftKings have a working relationship and partnership where you could bet on wrestling. And this is how I'm going to explain to you why I think it's brilliant. You never really know who is going to win. You can tell. Yes, it's scripted. Yes, it's a fixed event.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, how do you bet on a scripted
college
event?
Football's pretty damn fixed.
Yeah, and I was like the NBA also.
So the only people who knows what's going to happen is Vince McMahon, and it's only Vince. Because, guys, the word card subject to change is basically him. There's last-minute revisions going there. And you don't know about injuries. There have been guys who get scraped because of injuries and titles will change hands. You have botches. I'll give you a great example of when a botch goes wrong. So it was R-Truth versus Shinsuke Nakamura on SmackDown for the United States Championship 2-3 years ago. The ref messed up, did a quick pin, and R-Truth won the title. It was not supposed to happen. Rusev and Nakamura, I believe, were feuding against each other, and then the issue happened and led to R-Truth becoming U.S. champion on SmackDown. Betting is perfect because if you're a gambler, you're going to love professional wrestling because professional wrestling, I think it's better on the predictions. It's also better on the swerves. You can bet on anything. Like, I don't know the whole intuitiveness of it and how they would do it, but if you said, Charles, how can I bet on this? Okay, do you want to bet that ends in a count out? Or you can put money that ends on disqualification? If you're a crap heel, if you're a shit heel who knows he's about to lose, then him using a chair on his opponent to retain his title, it might be a situation where the challenger wins, but the champion retains. It's really that down the line betting. It's almost the most accurate way as like, oh, they're going to win in the over-unders by 3 or whatever the phrase is. I don't bet. I do fantasy football and I just come in second place because I'm trash. Freddie chuckles at my spirit right now. But you have multiple ways. So if you have a triple threat at Mania, maybe increases the odds because now you have to bet between 3 guys. Does it end with Brian winning, with Ed winning, with Roman winning? Who pins who? Who's the one to eats the pins? Probably going to be Brian, right? Because Roman can't lose. I really don't want Roman to lose clean. It'd be terrible. Waste of character. You should have that title until SummerSlam. And then Edge, do we want Edge to even lose cleanly? Because him and Brian can literally lose, eat the pin. Edge continues that feud with him, and they have a one-on-one feud. It's beautiful. You can put bets on the most minute things, and also, how does that person tap out? Roman tapped out for what looked like the first time in his career. Granted, it wasn't counted, but does that happen again, or does he get hit by a spear? It goes from there. You can have variables for anybody who loves gambling, who loves the art. Like Floyd Mayweather is probably like salivating at this right now. Floyd was he was in WWE. He had a WrestleMania match against Big Show. Put money on himself now. So yes, it's scripted, but you're not part of the know. All you're doing is doing a very strong speculation. It's the same equivalent of the Lakers fully healthy going against the Sacramento Kings, who are not healthy in a standard game. It's the equivalent of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who were trash last year, going against the Kansas City Chiefs. It might be an upset, but you feel like your gut instinct is going to put you into a different area. So tell me, guys, how is that different than anything else that you bet money on? And I think it's a brilliant deal because what WWE wants to do in the year that was supposed to be the worst thing for the pandemic and everybody was losing money, they found ways to make money. Oh boy. And wrestling is consistent. You know what's great about the DraftKings and the wrestling? 365, 7 days a week. You also have 3 brands. I don't know the intricacies, but I'm sure you can make a great way for this. And that's all I got for you this week.
Okay. Well then, so maybe we can do a maybe we can do a like a Charles's Picks segment at the end of these. See if we can get the gambling community in on this.
I mean, I kind of do them a little bit, right?
So, yeah.
I mean, damn, if you did on my G1 Climax win with Coda, it'd be perfect.
Maybe do a separate. I don't know. I guess post it out. We'll find a way. Anyways, well, that is it for us today. Everybody, thanks for BU for chiming in there on college hockey on the NCAA tournament. Thanks to Freddie for joining us as well. Thanks to my friends here, Andrew and Charles, as always, joining us. 99 episodes, guys. 100 next week. We gotta think of some special stuff. We gotta do some throwback stuff, all kinds of things. We gotta figure things out, and we're gonna plan it out.
It'll be a special one. Be sure to be here for it. Yeah. We're going triple digits, my friend.
Yeah, we're gonna. Well,
this is the big one.
We could actually have a 3-hour show. It could be that long.
The cage is gonna eat up a long time.
Yeah. Like, this is going to be, sheesh, man. Andrew, we should do, like, what was an old segment we used to do? Guess that college team name? We could do that.
Yeah.
Or pronounce, you find the pronunciation for weird athlete names.
I'm just going to find all the old stuff.
Yeah. We do a Fulmer Cup update. We could do that, too. We could do all of it.
And unlike sitcoms, we're not doing a clip show. You're getting live content. There's nothing worse than an anniversary show where it's like, oh, hey,
the clip
let's
shows,
just do all this stuff.
So if on the podcast version, we do have semi-clip show, I guess, is where we have the old non-sponsors. I've chopped them up into 5 1-hour sessions. So there's 5 of them, 5 compilations of our non-sponsors from Season 1. I think during the break I will do more compilations of our non-sponsors because they always get us
favorite non-sponsors of the show. Maybe we should do a ranking.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
there's many things, and you guys will find out if you tune in.
Yeah, we got to plan out our draft special as well, but that will be the end of our season, and we'll figure it out. And also thanks to Tiki for sponsoring us. Take control. Get some money for your data. mytiki.com/sportsgoofs. Type that in. All right, the Goofs love giving cash to everybody. Just not ours. Just not ours. We don't have enough.
All right. We broke.
Yeah, we are broke. Well, bye everybody. Ciao.
Good night, everyone.
Take care.
Hey folks, did you know that companies made over $382 billion from collecting people's data last year? Would you like to know how you can monetize your own data and pick and choose which companies use that data? Well, there's an app called Tiki that allows you to do just that. There are limited spots available, so please claim your spot at mytiki.com/sportsgoofs. There, you'll find out how you can link your account to the app and get a payout. Tiki is completely free to use and is available worldwide, so you can start earning from anywhere. Limited spots are available as they had just launched, but once you sign up, you'll be sent a link to download the app and start using it. They are growing fast and will be having weekly releases and adding new features as we speak. More than 30,000 people have signed up, so make sure to join early. The link is also in our description. Thank you to Tiki for sponsoring this episode.